And we are back. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smudcast number 872. All Art is Not Political, Part 2. We are finishing off the rest of this video from yesterday from the Professor Bopper. So we had a great time yesterday. I had a good time listening to every bloody sentence we had to go through and pausing on every sentence just to make sure we understood it. And doing our best to interpret what the man was saying. It was very difficult, but almost an opposite problem from last week, where it was so hard to even hear the man, what he was saying through all the swearing and cuss slurs. This is like someone throwing thesaurus across the room and having to pick it up every...
He's at least trying to be obtuse. The other guy was not capable to be obtuse.
Yeah. It was...
But we really should be transcribing this. Have someone writing down every single sentence it says so we can actually understand it.
It's a bit...
Oh, I'll be here a long time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of an effort just to pay attention and say, what? And then interpret, and then like, what is... Because he gives no examples. He has very few... Outside of his movie knowledge of obscure stories, you're like, oh, okay, that movie from the 70s that no one has ever watched. It's like, okay, what does that mean? I don't know. And then right now he's digging into the Critical Drinker, and we're like, okay, you don't like Critical Drinker, fine. Give us an example. What's wrong? Show me. Link to him. Give me a clip. Something. That's why we're on YouTube. You can do that. And he didn't do it. So we're just sitting there going, yes, Critical Drinker is bad because you said so, I guess. I don't know. So
what's wrong? What's wrong with Chris? Or is it Neil or Patrick? Whatever Critical Drinker's name is.
I don't know.
I don't fucking care.
We have to.
Critical Drinker's name's Will. So.
Yeah. Oh, it's Will. Okay. We can rewind and just follow his previous sentence to get some history of what the hell we were doing yesterday, because I don't remember. Let's go back a bit. Okay, here we go. This is good. Okay. 11:43. Here we go.
Act as a shorthand for whatever claim he is making about modern movies sucking. I chose not to do that video because watching The Critical Drinker gives me the collie wobbles, and also because it would do nothing but serve as a way for me to say, I watched...
Just for general educational purposes, Hawk, what is a collie wobble?
Oh, God.
Sorry?
The thing he just said, it sounded very English.
Oh, God.
I want to learn what that is.
You don't know? Okay.
Wait, what? A collie wobble?
Yeah.
I think he said collie wobble. Let's listen to it again.
Yeah, he did.
It's a pain in the stomach or bowels.
Essentially, yeah. You could argue it's also...
So bellyache.
Yeah. There's actually a border collie issue that's called collie wobble, but I don't know if they call it that anymore. But yeah, it's a
I've never heard that phrase in my entire life.
Really?
Oh, because the collie is having a wobble?
It's used by Southerners.
I don't know.
I'm a Northerner, so I haven't got a clue what a collie wobble is.
It's Southerner of England.
Well, no, it's
not America.
It's a slang term for border collies. I don't know what it does though, because I've never owned a border collie, but I hung out with someone who did, and they would say that they had some...
I hang out with border collies.
Yeah, they're great.
It's better than pit bulls.
They're amazing dogs. They're very energetic. They're fun to play with too. So I just don't know what it meant because they go to the vet and they found out that they had this condition and whatever it was. So anyway, you're right. It is a bit regarding the stomach. Because why not just say you have indigestion when you could say collie wobble?
Yeah, why not just use an obscure Southern English term that very few people even know about?
Yeah, be a pretentious prick. That's how you do it on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but okay, there's 2 points. There's 2 points. One is positive, the other maybe not so. The positive one is English insults, slurs, words can be very endearing.
Really?
Just like German ones. Yes, like collie wobble. It's wonderful.
Oh boy.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The other is yes. He's trying to frame himself as some sophisticated English aristocrat type thing who's an art snob, and therefore uses fancy words.
That would work if he proved...
I was going to say that he's very definitely trying to sound like an upper class twat.
Exactly.
To sound more sophisticated.
But that's the problem, because if he would prove that Critical Drinker was someone who caused him to be collie wobble-ish or whatever the condition is, and then say it, then I'd be like, oh, okay, now I know where you're coming from. Even though I don't agree, at least you gave me something to pull from to showcase this opinion. Because you can't just say, oh, I don't like the critical drinker. He makes me feel bad. I'm like, oh, well, too bad for you, buddy.
Well, yeah, is basically just saying that
Yes.
critical drinker just makes him have an extreme emotional response.
Exactly. And it's so childish. It's so silly. It's like, dude, I don't care how sad you are when you watch a video on YouTube and you go, ugh, my stomach. How dare.
My collar's been wobbled.
He can't hear a dissenting opinion without getting a tummy ache.
Yeah. Oh, that's a wonderful way to put it. How childish this is.
Like a literal toddler.
Yeah.
All right.
And we went about this detail a bit yesterday, but to like connect the end of yesterday to the beginning of today. Yes, the drinker disagrees with the message that he sees everywhere and basically coined that meme, which is why the left despises him. The socialists, like this guy, they hate him. But at the same time, the drinker is completely blind to the message when it is certain other things that for some reason he likes that are completely full of the message, like God of War Ragnarok or the Shogun demake. I refuse to call it a remake. It is absolutely despicable.
What if we showed him the critical drinker reaction to those two pieces of media? Would he go, oh, I agree with him now? He's okay.
Probably.
Well, because he said that they're not woke at all. Dude, have you looked at them?
Anyway, I don't think we're going to have that conversation with this person, but anyway, let's keep going. Here's Leo DiCaprio in The Retarded. Okay, thank you, sir, for that wonderful name. I always wondered what it is about Drinker that makes these bedwetting retards melt down. I think it's just because he actually represents the average moviegoer that's fed up with woke Zog slop in Hollywood, and they don't. He's the actual proletariat. Ooh, don't say that.
Drinker?
I don't think that's a good thing to
Well,
say.
probably not anymore with his view counts.
Well, I don't think we should be calling people slurs like proletariat. So, anyway, let's keep going.
Because it would do nothing but serve as a way for me to say, I watched Heat and Collateral and Shaft.
How does watching Drinker cause you to watch Heat? What? I don't. Okay, whatever logic this guy's following, I've lost it.
And The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly better than he did. The purpose.
Oh,
of
that line.
style,
Yep, the Richard.
That's where we checked out yesterday.
Not Richard. What's his name? You're watching movies wrong, guy. What's his name? God, I forgot. I said it last time.
Is it Willems?
Willems, Patrick Willems. Thank you. There you go.
I'm watching movies more correctly than you do.
The ultimate pretentious twat of movies. My eyes are more correct than yours. Okay.
But at least he'd
to
say
make the
that yes, you should watch the movie on a screen or at least a big canvas instead of a tiny smartphone. I might agree with him that he might be watching movies more correctly than other people because watching movies on smartphones is insane.
Yeah, well.
You need to get your brain checked.
Sometimes that's all you got, and you're going on a flight from Toronto to New York. You gotta get something.
Yeah, that's okay. I can accept people watching slop to pass the time on there, but not the good stuff.
Okay, fair enough. All right, standards.
The thing that wants to be watched on a big screen, where the animation is amazing or the cinematography is amazing, and not just your general episode 326 of your soap opera or your endless anime that is full of filler episodes.
Side of their political purpose. To prove each individual clip wrong misses the forest for the trees.
No, if I were to take
That's actually hitting every tree.
Yeah, you're counting every tree. You're literally in the forest counting the trees.
You're taking inventory.
That's the
this shows that he's never worked in retail or any other relevant job ever, where you sometimes have to, usually once a year, have to take stock.
So
And that's what doing that is.
The only chance of him being correct in that sentence, even though it's technically incorrect, would be you need to have a gestalt opinion for the forest, not you should not be counting trees. So it's like, okay, I think I know what you're trying to say, but you better give me a good example to tell me why.
Whether or not Stanley Kowalski is a ideal portrayal of a man, it's that.
So does anyone catch that? Kowalski? It's Stanley. It's from Stella. What the hell is that called?
Yes, the musical.
Streetcar Named Desire. Streetcar Named Desire. There you go.
I want to add one thing. As always, when the English use the word, the term Gestalt, it always screws me up because.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's not your fault. Not your fault. It's the fault of pretentious English scholars who think, oh, let's use the word from another language because we feel more fancy doing that. The word Gestalt in German comes from German, just means vague shape.
I see.
Like when somebody is, you see somebody from the corner of your eye, and it's just you don't really, and it's kind of dark, and you can't really tell what it is or who it is. That's a Gestalt.
It's really bad that I only know that word from Red Dwarf.
That's fine.
Well,
so I literally use it once as a Gestalt entity.
From D&D.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm coming from Aristotle. I just use that term to summarize.
Yeah, see, this is the complete
I'm
different
pretty
thing.
sure Aristotle did not know German. I'm pretty sure the old Greek man did not know German.
No, but that's the good summary of what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. The Gestalt entity is a vague shape thing, but it's more. It's technically a Lovecraftian term if you think about it. The way that he describes monsters is in a Gestalt way. He doesn't define anything. He doesn't give clear outlines of what things actually are properly in detail. It's just this vague idea of a terror thing that looms there.
Interesting. Okay,
You can feel it.
That's
prick
not
your
what I wanted to
goosebumps.
say, but thank you for the literal word usage. Great stuff. All right, here's Axton Zero again. Thank you for the 5, sir. Drinker said Dead Space remake wasn't woke. Ooh, despite the all-gender bathrooms, etc., it doesn't matter if it's to his definition, only if he likes it. Exactly.
Yep. And that's why we didn't hold back against Mauler when he did the exact same thing. Because you can't complain about all the things that the woke wrecks about Disney Star Wars and then ignore all the exact same things and writing errors and pacing errors and logic errors and whatnot errors in something else. Either you have an objective problem with those errors, or you don't. And if you don't, then the question is, why do you dislike it here, but don't dislike it there? And even to the point that you pretend that it is not there.
It's the basic thing of I don't care as long as it's destroying something else, but if it destroys something that I enjoy, that's a line crossed.
Yeah, like Anita Sarkeesian when she heard that Mr. Buffy wanted to remake it with a black lead. Oh no, not Buffy!
Or the what is the Connor Chronicles, the thing with Terminator, but it was the mom and she
Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Yeah, like she really liked that show, and I thought it was okay too. But I was like, okay, it's not like the end of the world that they're not bringing back second or third season, whatever it was.
I think it was a third season. Yeah. Oh.
Out of context clip, he looks masculine, and honestly, this approach ignores a very uplifting undertone.
Okay, so he's arguing that the critical drinker takes clips out of context. Is that the summary here? Is that what he's just trying to say?
Before I stopped watching him, which is exactly when he turned hypocritical about God of War, I believe. And then I just heard snippets of other things that he where he ignored the woke, or even said, I was told it wasn't, and didn't check himself, like the Shogun show. And it didn't sound very convinced the way he said it, like he was a bit unsure. I think he was on whose show was? Oh, I think he was on It's a Gundam stream for that. Might be wrong. But great! I confused myself.
Okay.
Well, you know.
Well, he's giving the example that if you take Stanley Kowalski out of context or in a certain scene, then he doesn't seem like the nicest guy to his wife. But we don't know why that is. But he's a man because he married a woman, and this woman is blah blah blah. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
This is what Critical Drinker does. He takes stuff out of context. I don't know. Maybe he does.
Thanks for bringing that back. That's the thing I actually wanted to answer. Up until the point I watched him, I don't remember him taking anything out of context.
Oh.
He's
See, this is.
This sounds more demeaning than it sounds, but I don't think he is capable of taking things out of context.
Well, if you're going to accuse someone of something, show it. Show it on the screen. Clip it for 10 seconds, whatever the context is, and go, oh, look, see that? He got it wrong. Here's the real context. And then show the full clip. And I'm like, great, just do that. And then you could prove your point without being some weirdo who thinks he's right without evidence. This is silly.
Yeah. Otherwise, it is slander.
Pretty much.
Exists in every Critical Drinker video, within every depressing quartering rant, within every YouTube diatribe of go woke, go broke, within...
What's wrong with diatribing go woke, go broke?
It's pretty much what happened all around the world.
That's normal. Someone screws up, like BioWare, I'm like, oh, forget this stupid company.
That is actual consequence culture.
It's basically at the point where he's attacking YouTubers for having dissenting opinions now.
Oh my God, the company I used to like is now shit. Maybe I won't get angry, or I'll do something about it and voice my opinion.
Well, you know about a franchise that I put loads of money in and time and effort. Oh, it's going to hell. Oh, I'll just move on, and not be angry at all.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm allowed to be angry. I like this.
This thing I've enjoyed with friends and family for years, if not decades, is now trash. Thank you, company, for your wonderful DEI hires.
Imagine a situation. Say this woman wrote a book series about a magical young boy, and then did something that you didn't agree with. Imagine how silly you would be getting so angry and saying like they're vile and deserve, death. What a silly thing to do. Imagine being somebody like that.
If there was something in the books that made me like say this does not belong, this is bad writing, I would feel justified. But if it's outside the books and she just, I don't know, went on a bender and just launched herself off a cliff or something like a lunatic and killed a bunch of people, then be like, whoa. The books are still good, but she's a nut bar. So
but the thing is, he's saying this. Oh, look at these people. They're getting angry because they don't like their franchise anymore. How embarrassing! How silly! I'm superior. Yeah. See, what I do is I just send death threats to the creators of series that I don't like.
I call them names. I call them 5 names in one sentence if I could. It's just like, okay.
I call them vile human beings that deserve death.
With adjectives.
I'm superior because I watch 1970s French avant-garde films.
Okay.
This is so. I can't believe he's seriously saying this.
Well, and those French films are about a feminist doing the laundry.
Yeah. Every caricature that you've ever seen in any comic book or cartoon really exists. They're all based on real people.
It's apparent.
As extreme as that sounds, as extreme as some of those caricatures are, I have met enough people at this point that I believe caricatures don't actually exist. They're just drawn a little weird, but the characters themselves, they're completely real.
Yeah, well, all these people on YouTube that have successful studios or media commentary about movies and games, I think they might have some passion behind what they're doing. It's not just get up, make video. It's get up, oh, this is something I care about. I'm going to make a video about that. And we have I don't know, not Jeremy, but the other guy used to own a comic book shop. The quartering, I'm not sure exactly what he did, but all these are super geeks. They're really hardcore into what they like. So it makes sense that they would talk about it and be passionate about it and make stuff about it. And again, if you don't like that, that's great. Stop watching it if you don't like it. And if there's a problem with it, just criticize them and tell us what exactly is the problem. Because these guys aren't perfect. Drinker's not perfect. I'm not perfect. I get things wrong all the time. And we need each other to tell, hey, you're off your game, you got your facts wrong, etc. That's normal to criticize critics. That's how we get better.
The issue comes from the fact that they always come from this moral high horse argument.
Yes.
And it's like, right, and then you look at the horse and it's like 2 broomsticks put together with tape, and you're like...
Not even 4.
Yeah, just 2, because they can't count. And you're like, why are you coming from this moral high horse position when you're still in the supposed gutter with the rest of us?
Yeah, it's the emotional superiority or emotion over facts and intelligence, or at least pointing to evidence would be nice, and saying, I am better because I know that you are not the perfect being. I don't think Drinker ever purports to be perfect or what have you. He's a layman at best. So I don't know why that bothers these guys, aside from him being super popular. And
he doesn't 100% agree, and that's it.
Yeah. He's
that's
a big
And
target.
speaking of facts, Fox in the chat, I was not talking about the wonderful, absolutely gorgeous 80s show of Shogun, which the actual author worked on and directed, and where you see everything only from Blackthorn's point of view, and there are no subtitles, so you are as thrown into this as the audience, as the viewer, thrown into this strange alien world where people all speak weird and you don't understand a word and can only watch and try to understand from the actions of people. And there's a lot of character acting, there's a lot of show don't tell, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The characterization is amazing, and it's also why it's cut short, because a lot of the later parts are in the book are Japanese only scenes, so they didn't get into that. Would have loved for that show to continue, but basically a lot of it ends where the book kind of ends, because it's kind of the same thing there. However, the remake, in very big quotation marks, it's rather a complete destruction. It's a complete inversion. Blackthorn there is shown as incompetent. Not in the first episode. The first episode is kinda still okay-ish. It's kind of the same thing as when the woke capture a show, and the first season is okay and it hooks you, and then every next season is just the worst, most unbearable thing ever. It's like in New Hope, not in New Hope. The Force Awakens is this thing where you look at it and it's kind of seems like it might be okay, and then you watch TLJ. It's like what the hell did I just walk into? That's what the Shogun show is. But if you look closely, if you take a few steps back, you see that the first episode already is completely off. The entire scenes were rewritten with the events in it happening in false order, just so something even more denigrating and nonsensical could happen. Every male character in that show is written to be a wuss and a skeleton. The sons of the lords are just these tiny, scrawny, skin and bone guys who they couldn't hold a sword if they would ever try. And some characters have been invented just to kill them off in a silly way. And the warm, wonderful, helpful, caring Mariko, she was rewritten to be a psychopathic, ice-cold knife woman who plots the death of everybody and constantly denigrates Blackthorn, even gets his lines in the book, she gets to say them. And then she gets to care about his crew. Also, when he doesn't. even that is taken from him. To the point that at the end, this magical Mariko woman, who in the original was just an advisor and translator and teacher, and well, in a tough relationship, in this demake, the hyper feminist demake, where everything is given to the women, and all the women who get all these things are at the same time conniving, borderline psychopaths, narcissists galore. She at the end gets a Dynasty Warrior scene where she throws around a naginata or a spear or some kind and fights off several soldiers just to show her defiance against the Lord. This woman would have been executed so many times. While in this demake, she is also somehow hated due to her past, but only in words, only by word is she despised. While at the same time, everybody reveres her openly and honestly. It's a complete contradiction, because that's what the woke wants, the socialist, the perpetual victim underdog who thinks to be the hero at the same time. That, oh, I'm the underdog, I'm so oppressed, everybody hates me, but I'm also so amazing that everybody loves me and I can't do anything, but I actually can't because I'm so oppressed. And it's complete madness.
All right.
And you tell me you didn't see that?
Yeah.
Did you watch the new show or did you watch the old one?
Anyway, back to the video. Let's get going.
Useless, pitiful shit behind a Geeks and Gamers podcast. There is a hollowness beneath the din.
So useful and pitiful, and it's hollow. I don't think he likes these guys. I'm just getting that vibe in general. I think he needs more words to clearly explain what he's getting at, because he's not using enough adjectives, I noticed. Mostly nouns.
Peel back layers of outrage, and you see nothing. The actual...
So it's hollow and shit and outrage, but there's nothing there. Okay. If you say so, that's a lot of descriptions for nothing, but okay.
Cinematic, the critical drinker, is non-existent.
My film degree is bigger than yours.
It really is.
Actually,
I'm more pretentious than you. It's
Yeah.
like, boy, yeah, you are. You got me there.
I'm actually going to challenge you to a drinking game, Smud. To drink an entire bottle of whatever Canadian whiskey you have on hand.
Oh, you don't want to do that.
Every time he correctly uses the word verisimilitude, which we know he is not going to do.
No, I don't think he'll ever pronounce that, or let alone know what it means. But no, Canadian whiskey is basically firewater. You don't want to drink that stuff.
The irony of this is, I'm pretty certain I've watched films that this guy will have no idea even exists. So I'm like, okay, you watched some French film, I watched other films. So what?
Firewater? I spelt it without an E.
Fearwater? What? What are you talking about?
Canadian whiskey. I thought you spelt it without an E.
Well, whiskey is Scottish, so you have to do it the proper way spelling. And you can only spell it for Scottish whiskey. There are Scottish style whiskeys in Canada.
I mean, counterpoint, I've got some Japanese whiskey and that's spelled without the...
Ooh, I don't know. I don't think they could do that. Well, they could get sued, but not a big deal.
And I think there's some Irish whiskies that are spelled without the E as well. Although there are some with the...
Yeah, unless Scotland starts going crazy on the world for spelling, I don't think it's a big deal.
I mean, during the Rugby World Cup in Japan, the Scottish were really enjoying the Japanese whiskey, so I think it's fine.
No, Japanese whiskey is amazing. They both do Scottish
It's
style.
phenomenal, yeah.
And their own, what is it called? Not Midori, what the hell is it called?
Suntory.
Yeah, I know. It's Sun, that's the brand, but there's it's like Daylight. I can't remember the exact translation. Hikari, I think it's called Hikari. It's one of the best Irish style whiskeys I've ever had. Anyway, that's unrelated. Let's just keep going.
Pull the back on his Gish Gallop editing style, and you'll find nothing but...
Sorry, what do you say? Gish Gallop?
Ishkal bedding style?
The actual cinematic knowledge of the critical drinker is non-existent. Pull the curtain back on his Gish Gallop editing style, and you'll find nothing but make-believe.
Gish Gallop editing style.
You mean the thing that he's doing right now, which has absolutely no sense, rhyme, or reason and context?
The video that's being played right now is Critical Drinker's video.
So, okay. Here's what he did. He used Gish Gallop, which is a rhetorical technique where someone overwhelms an opponent with a rapid barrage of arguments. But he said that was his editing technique, which is basically he does fast cuts, which majority of YouTubers who get noticed do fast cuts. So that means nothing to me. There's no argument. He's just cutting things quickly, or else YouTube will dock him for having anything beyond 3 seconds, because then they'll use their wonderful AI tools to track that and say, oh, copyright. So, no, sir, you cannot use Gish Gallop as a form of editing technique.
Look, while he's currently showing Drinker's video, the other parts where he's doing his own editing, not showing Drinker's video, he has been doing exactly that.
In a way,
it's fucking seizure-inducing.
Anyway, here's a dark sir for 10. Thank you, sir. Whiskey with an E refers to grain spirits distilled in Ireland and the United States. Whiskey with no E refers to Scottish, Canadian, or Japanese. Really? I thought it was only in Scotland. I thought that's the only way you could spell it. I did not know that. Thank you, sir. I'm not as knowledgeable in the spelling of the whiskeys. Good stuff. I don't buy too many Canadian whiskeys because they're mostly rye-based and they burn your throat. So, yeah. But Japanese is amazing stuff. My brother is a Japanophile. He goes there every year. Yeah. Brings home amazing, authentic Suntory.
They're so expensive.
I think I went through my Hakushu too quickly.
All right. Well, it's been a while. 13 minutes. Here we go.
A weapon of all art is political to turn his mindless consumption of mainstream cinema and Twitter take...
What? Wait, is the critical drinker weaponizing that sentence?
A weaponization of all art is political. All art is political is a weaponization itself of art for political purposes, for power gain by the socialists. That's what it's always been. You horrible. He's annoyed that somebody has touched his weapon and is using it against him by telling people, don't use this weapon. It's a weapon. Let's defend against the weapon. He calls that a weaponization.
I'm not even sure that's what Critical Drinker's doing. I really don't. No.
He's not consciously. Drinker doesn't understand that this is a political and ideological weapon. But
okay.
What he's doing here, so what the left uses these things as a weapon. Everything is political, all art is political, the private is political. Those are weapons in order to gain control. It's brainwashing. And when you tell people to just ignore that, or to go against that, you are inoculating them against the weapon, so they gain defense points. And that means that the weapon doesn't work anymore. And from the one who wants the weapon to work, that, through projection and gaslighting, is then called a weaponization. That's what this is. That's what he's doing here. Maybe he's not conscious of it himself, because everything is just emotional reaction on the left. But that's the effective process that's going on, the mechanics.
You could say that, but I disagree with the premise that whatever this gentleman just said about Critical Drinker, I don't think Critical Drinker's actually aware or doing any of it.
I agree.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, here's another donation from Mr. Zeke Kyle. Hey, Zeke. How you doing? Gosh, galloping style. Drinker overwhelms you with clips is Is this man deliberately autistic or just profoundly bad faith?
He is not autistic. He is narcissistic.
Pretentious, I would say. Pretentious is the right word for me.
An autist doesn't need to be pretentious. An autist will try to tell you things because he loves talking about it, because he loves the thing, or he wants to share in it, or he wants to tell you something, or he wants to learn something from you, and asks you a dozen questions because of it, and about all the little numerous details, like Data from Star Trek having a seizure. But a narcissist will be all pretentious, all hot air, all insults, and just talk and talk and talk in order to gain attention and to denigrate others. He does not talk about the substance of things. He talks about the superficial parts of things.
Well, there's more to this.
That's what he's doing.
Drinker's editing style is very similar to this video, talking over movie clips or inserting a different clip to make a joke. Yeah, kind of, sort of. Pretty much what everyone does, though. It's, nothing special.
Pull the curtain back on his Gish Gallop editing style, and you'll find nothing but make-believe. A weaponization of all art is political to turn his mindless consumption of mainstream cinema and Twitter takes and rage bait into a political message. But that is the point. By reducing films down to their political components, to the representational politics...
I really don't think that's what the Drinker is doing.
It's not what Drinker is doing, it's what the left is doing.
I don't think he has that capacity or simplicity to just say, it's just a pile of crap. Like, no, he doesn't do that.
The critical drinker becomes knowledgeable enough for his analytical lens. So...
What analytical lens is that? What are you talking about? The Gish Galloping editing style is the analytical lens? What is the lens? The lens the one that you don't use? The one that you don't like? Therefore wrong? What is it?
I had to ask the question, is it worth actually talking about how much he doesn't know?
You're literally doing that. Or at least making names, calling them names, without showing us what the hell you're talking about. Should I be making a video about the critical drinker? No, I shouldn't. It's like, then why are you talking about him?
Imagine responding to the validity of...
Well, it did also bring up Geeks and Gamers and...
Quartering, yeah, exactly.
Quarterling, as we can see.
Anyone he disagrees with, pretty much, yeah. All those guys, yeah. They're all up there.
Imagine responding to the validity of Vosh or Hassan.
Imagine actually
Destiny.
Well, imagine actually responding properly, not just saying, this guy's an idiot. He uses political things as whatever he was referring to as weapons. Like, wow. How ironic.
What validity?
I don't know. Let's keep going.
By checking it, by talking about it, that is how we do check it. So yeah, I want to check the validity of people. Yeah, I want to know whether they're worth their salt, or whether I can just ignore them.
Foolish, ignorant, boob-made man, and
sorry.
What?
There's so many words. He's foolish. He's buffoonish, so I don't know why you'd use both of those. Ignorant, so he's goofing around. He's a fool, and he's ignorant,
and he's stupid,
and he's a. Did he say boob made or boobade?
I thought it was boot made.
Boot? I don't know what those words mean. I don't think those are actual words.
I want to hear that again.
I think maybe he has implants. That's all I can get. Boob made.
Oh no.
That's all I can get.
Oh no. That's me. That's. Isn't that fat shaming?
Because he's fat, he has mantis.
Oh, is that it? He made his own boobs through eating? I don't know.
Imagine responding to the validity of a quartering rant. The quartering is a foolish, buffoonish, ignorant, boob-made man, and
he did say boob-made.
Boob-made.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
So,
it
means
English.
He's a boob.
Why do you ask me for English? I don't know what these cunts are talking about.
I'm serious.
I don't know, maybe some weird Cockney thing?
No.
I've just broken it down for you.
Why would I know Cockney? I live 169 miles away from London.
I know somebody from Reading who knew Cockney.
I've just broken it down outside London.
Yeah, but it's not right there.
Anyway, it's an
Reading is
insult.
where all the cockneys go anyway. Why are you asking?
I'll put it in
What's going on
I'll
anymore?
look at.
Okay, so it's just an insult no one has any context of or meaning of. Fine.
Let's Google. What was it? Boobade. Let's go.
That's not a word. Come on.
I thought it was boob made.
He said boob made.
So made by
I
boobs.
think
Maybe
they
he
were-
means the birds.
Oh, maybe
so
he
came
was
from an egg.
Maybe he's conservative, therefore he drinks his mother's milk as a child because that's conservative mothers, they breastfeed, right?
He's
So I
calling
think
him a boob, which means an idiot, a stupid person.
Okay, but
Yeah, because look, the
And
German
a
name for
boob-made
the
man.
for the
So-
for the bird with the blue feet, the boob, is a Blaufußtölpel, which means blue-feeted idiot. Maybe he means that, or blue-footed.
I think
English is
I
weird.
think we're trying too hard here, guys.
Look, but I'm smart.
literally-
That
I'm
means
looking-
we're trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, don't
yeah,
we?
I hope.
Dade, if you look up on Google,
That's all
if you look up on Google, all you get is free massages from clearly dodgy websites. So I don't know if this word is a real word.
All right. It's 4 insults in a row. That's good enough to know what he's trying to say. Okay.
Applesauce content creator.
Oh, 5 in a row. Okay, Jesus.
Don't you
brain
insult
content
applesauce.
creator.
Does that mean he puts applesauce on his steak? Does that mean he has applesauce for a brain? What does that mean? I don't know.
He has applesauce instead of blood running through his
Okay,
brain.
whatever.
It's,
I'm going to stop right
Doesn't
there.
it imply that he's a very sweet man?
In his brain, maybe? I don't get it. I don't know.
Sweet brainy ink?
Would anyone ever get from meticulously owning him in the marketplace of ideas?
Maybe some credibility, buddy. I don't know. Try it.
The left rejects the marketplace of ideas.
This is
That's what you
so-
have this whole by any means necessary and everything is political for in the first place.
What-
So that you can claim the win over everybody in the marketplace of ideas where only your ideas are allowed to be.
I wonder
Of
why.
course they reject the marketplace of ideas. They reject all marketplaces because they're communists and they don't believe in property.
Well, okay.
Right. They want a managed market, a managed ideas place.
But this argument is, why would I attack low-hanging
Plant.
fruit? It's so easy. It's like, I don't know, because you've never done it yet and you haven't proven anything in this video, let alone as we know you. It might be a good idea.
I think you found something. You found a very good metaphor because they don't just want a planned economy; they want a planned idea thinking space
Culture.
thing.
You know when the left made a marketplace for all their ideas. It's called Blue Sky, and they hate it there, and they've come back to Twitter. So, no offense, but if I've got to go to the marketplace of leftism, and even the leftists don't like it, I don't care about winning the argument here. That's like getting into a battle of wits with a used fucking teabag.
Well, in this case, he can criticize Critical Drinker or Quartering or whatever, but he refuses not to because he's so smart that to do so would be a waste of time. It wouldn't be worth his effort.
Because I'm so smart that I will not insult this brained applesauce man.
On the marketplace of ideas of the left, all the stalls are empty and everybody starves.
Well,
No, Wisp. It's filled with boobades.
if I'm
But
like,
they are starving.
just to be clear, if I'm going to insult someone, I wouldn't use 5 different words. 2 of them which are very similar. One of them is not even a word. Saying your brain is made of jelly. It's just like what is happening? You don't like.
If you're gonna insult someone, just use the old time favourites like cunt. Or if you really want to be spicy, just use the N word repeatedly, getting louder and louder.
Muslim N word. Those are the best.
Oh yes, sorry.
We learned anything from last week, it was the Muslim N word.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Telling me when and where I can eat my pork.
So here's
What is this?
We just need to hold all beef production for a decade in the West, and they'll go away.
All right, here's Mike Hunt. Hey, Mike, how's it going? I'm laughing like an absolute retard right now. Did Drinker shag this faggot's mum? Did he run over his dog? He's seething with rage. Also, Drinker isn't a conservative. Oh, he's not a conservative?
He's not.
I've seen no evidence for that other than he dislikes woke slop, which everyone does.
He lives in the area of Dunfermline, which is a very
that's not a real place.
Yeah, it is a real place.
You just made up that word.
No, Dunfermline is a town in Scotland.
Coming from
Dunfermline.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wisp, don't start throwing names around and saying they don't exist.
Yes, I'm gonna say Wisp. Home to Gestapo Vacaville. No offense, your national dress is a fucking leotard. So what? It doesn't really matter. Don't you come to me about my names.
I'm just saying that you say that boobmaid is not a word, but Dunfermline is a place.
Boobmaid is 2 words. Boob and maid.
If it was a word, it would definitely be a compound.
You can literally Google it. And anyway, the area that he lives in switches between Liberal Democrats and the Scottish National Party for government. So yeah, he's if he is right wing quotation marks, he's one of the very few people there. So
yeah, all right, okay. Not that
it's like with Mauler. He lives in Wales. Wales has been controlled by Labour for the last 30 years. So the entirety of Mauler's life, he knows no other thing than Labour. So they're not right wing. They just don't like woke.
Pretty soon, Mauler's going to know the Islamic Party, whatever it's called in that area.
That's what it's called. It's just the Islamic Party.
Well, at least it's clear. At least we understand that word. All right.
Oh yeah, they're very clear about what they're called.
Okay. Oh, why would I own someone who's my lesser? I don't know, because it gives you credibility. Anyway.
Oh, listen, Smud, that sort of thought resulted in 400 years of perfect harmony.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, boy. Well, we're almost at 14 minutes.
He says is obscenely stupid.
Okay, listen. If you're gonna say someone's stupid, just say they're stupid. What does obscenely stupid mean?
Everything he says is stupid, and that was the entry for my 2-year-old daughter for insults. Wow, congratulations. Oh, I just think he's stupid. Explain why he's stupid. What does he say that is stupid? Well, he gishgalops his boobades around.
I think he just ran out of long insult words.
Yeah.
It's not just stupid. It's obscenely stupid. So it's so stupid it's obscene.
I guess like he's a Mr. Bean just banging into walls. Like you can't walk properly. I guess I don't know. How does
Mr. Bean can walk properly. John Cleese can't.
Obscene as in offensively.
He's offensively stupid. So I'm offended by his stupidity. It's like, great. Why didn't you make a video criticizing his stupidity? That'd be great. As opposed to saying, I'm above him. I'm not going to do that. It's like, okay, then what the hell are you talking about?
I find these insults grotesque.
Yeah, or obscene.
No, grotesque.
I find them
disgusting.
Flaccid. I find them empty. There's nothing there. I don't like this guy. He's a dum-dum. Okay.
Smud?
Yeah?
Smud?
Yes.
Just like his penis.
Flaccid like...
No, don't.
No. Look. You can't actually say the thing verbatim. You have to describe it.
We said boobade.
You have to do it in a flowery way. That's how it's done.
Just to go off tangent, but the word flaccid is hilarious because Mrs. Hawke's grandma thought that flaccid meant pale.
Okay.
So would describe her neighbour as flaccid to people.
That's not wrong.
Oh, he's looking very flaccid today.
Very unique relationship your neighbors there have.
Yeah, but I'm just like, what? She goes, yeah, he just looks very, very flaccid. I don't think he gets out enough to, make himself look less flaccid. We're like, what? Do you know what flaccid means? She goes, yeah, when you're pale and you're like white. It's like, no, that's not what it means. So yeah, this neighbour about knowing people.
Yeah, it's wonderful. All right, the wordplay is wonderful on this stream because we have to deal with all these adjectives. Just obscenely flaccid today. All right, let's keep going.
Exposure is a horrific gaze into the abyss of a human id.
Wait. Okay, wait. We're not bringing in Freud. Okay, we are not. As soon as you use psychology terms, now I'm angry. The id is the unconscious parts of the human psyche that no one has access to. I'm sorry, sir, you cannot read someone's mind, let alone their unconscious one. I don't care if you're the next coming of Freud.
What he means to say is that in a very, very fancy way, that Drinker is just a reactionary because he's just emotionally reacting to things he has learned or been told to not like, which is our propaganda. Really, he should like it. But he's just reacting wrong. He has the wrong emotions.
The id has to do with sexual urges of sleep, urges of hunger, like the basal, natural aspects of the human mind or the human
thalamus drives.
You know what's funny about obviously the id and be like, about Freud and everything. It all gets explained in a really crappy sci-fi movie, Forbidden Planet, about the id.
Really?
Yeah, it's where the phrase "monsters from the id" comes from with in popular culture. The main monster is a person's id that comes out of him and destroys everything.
Yeah, we're not going to get into the three aspects of the Freudian psyche.
Exactly. But what I mean is, when people use id, they try and sound smart, and I'm like, no, like even crappy 50s B movies were getting to this level.
This was the joke
of thought.
Even back in the day when Freud thought these ideas, a lot of the psychologists or even just philosophers or people going, what are you on about? Saying this unconscious mind that no one has access to. You admit you don't have access to, and you have to go through this weird therapy where we talk to you for hours and hours, for months and years, to figure out some weird ancestral memory that you had when you were a child, and it's like, whoa, that's weird. Like, dude, and then for him to say, hey, we have access to his innermost human urges through his rants about media, you're like, no. You're using words wrong, sir. It's very, like if someone were to say gender dysphoria, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Do they even know what that word means? We're talking about the trans movement. It's like, nope, they don't. It would be just as stupid.
The trans movement doesn't talk about gender dysphoria.
They can't.
Hasn't for 10 years.
They have no idea what they would even be starting with. So in this guy, to use that loaded word specifically about a very controversial history, the psychoanalysis is still done today, but not in the same vein. But from hundreds or 100 years ago is, I don't know, this is like first year psychology nonsense. That maybe he's doing a gen science or a gen arts degree, and he's just taking all his courses at once, and he just decided to use that word. I don't know. But it's always annoying to me because I do speak to psychologists that do have this as a therapy. It's very rare they use it, but sometimes they have to. And they don't even bring this concept up. Like, it's just so silly. Anyway, we're at 14 minutes. I'm no longer angry. Everything's fine.
You're reaching enlightenment?
Yeah.
Pizza without me.
Oh my God, they're clipping him. Oh my, this is the first time. Let's rewind this.
Is obscenely stupid. All you would get from that kind of exposure is a horrific gaze into the abyss of a human id.
My wife went out for pizza without me, and I'm angry about it. So I'm going to win this round, and I'm going to pee. If I don't win this round, I'm going to pee in my own basement.
In some way.
That's the clip you used.
That of all the things, he was digging for something so mundane in a gaming stream.
Where he's
in
joking.
A recreational gaming stream that had nothing to do with debate, discussion, elaboration on anything. political, philosophical, news, whatever. No, it's just the announcement in a gaming stream that I'm gonna take a break.
You could argue basal metabolism involves urination, I suppose, but you wouldn't be conscious of it. He's making a joke.
You know, Jesus went to the bathroom once a day.
Oh, God, yeah. This is so childish for someone who thinks he's so smart.
Uselessness of turning art into political fights with right-wing
What is... You're... Okay, this is what he's doing.
YouTubers is exposed by the fallout of the second election of Donald Trump.
What? No, it's not. That has nothing to do with... What do you...
Does anyone have a bingo card?
The fallout of the second... What is the fallout? No, there was an election. There was no fallout.
No, the fallout comes after the election.
Fallout of what?
I don't know, well, all the Biden nonsense being taken back and it coming out that Biden wasn't actually signing anything, but it was the advisor of, who was it, Maxine Waters? Or who was running the White House and using the AutoPen all the time?
Maxine.
Yeah. Or the other one of the weird socialist women in Congress.
One old person taking over for another old person who could barely put their thoughts together?
Yeah, but not even her, but the advisor.
I don't want to know.
I guess Biden wasn't a boobated man, was he?
Yeah, he was very boobated at that point.
He was an ice cream man. I don't know about that involved boobs, but yeah.
He was a very hairy-legged man.
Well, considering his interests, he probably wasn't into boobs at all.
Oh God!
Why does this feel like a Maggie May video now? We're talking about Donald Trump.
Well,
because she used to enjoy just bringing them up.
Yeah.
I don't think this guy's into cat makeup
or hobbycraft mentions. So I'm out.
I don't think this guy is into cat makeup.
I still remember that.
Remember, we went from Star Trek: The Final Frontier to
hobbycraft, because
going through Iraqi artifacts and Donald Trump.
Because Kirk Cameron shared the name Kirk with James T. Kirk.
Yeah.
That's how it works for schizos.
That crazy woman in her brain just, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, Kirk Cameron gave me the hobbycraft, who in turn used the money to take stolen Iraqi artifacts, because under the presidency of Trump, who's a fascist, you're like, oh my God, where are we going here?
Anyway, the fallout.
By the way, you have to do as I say, or you are evil.
Oh God. Anyway, fallout of the second election. We don't know what he's saying. Let's see where he's going with this.
Of based epic dark gothic MAGA meme lord edgelord divorce lord Elon Musk.
You mean the Iron
Gothic?
Man?
I wish there was some Gothic culture coming back.
I didn't they have this whole dark Brandon bullshit with Mr. Biden?
What?
Mr. Bidero, yeah.
Yeah, did they do that as well? So I don't know.
Yeah.
What this means.
You have to remember with Biden, everyone thought Biden was this dark, edgy thing on the left until, for the first time ever, he was actually asked to talk in front of a camera without a script, and everyone went, "Oh my God, he's retarded! Quick, wheel on the black woman."
Oh.
That's literally how the U.S. elections went.
Dark, edgy. That still has nothing to do with Gothic.
I don't know how Elon Musk is a meme lord aside from owning Twitter.
You know the best thing is, well, Elon Musk was
he did the sync
a leftist
that was
for his entire life until he went, oh, actually, I don't think we should just bring in millions of illegals. Let's just give them legal immigration.
Well,
it's crazy.
That's usually how leftists bring down any problems in statistics. They just legalize the thing. When the left subverted our party project back in the day, which was quite, you could say, libertarian and seeking an objective view on the world. Not objectivism in the Ayn Rand sense, but just trying to be objective. The way that they, once they had a hold on power, decided to make the statistics nice so that it looks like, we increased the amount of paying members. Because usually they just would pay when they came to a party congress where there were actual votes taking place, and we didn't really care about the membership fees because that's not actually what runs a party. It's the members actually doing something. It's the activism that makes a party. And the way they brought up the membership fee count, the percentage, was then by proudly exclaiming, yeah, we struck out 80% of the people who... we struck out all the people who had over a year of not having paid their membership fees, and now the membership percentage of members who are paying is over 80%. Aren't we awesome? And we just wanted to lynch all of them.
Well, it's kind of odd because Elon, I thought, was pretty much a 90s liberal, and so is Joe Rogan, and so is Donald Trump, and so is
but
Bill Maher.
90s liberalism is now right-wing, because that's how far the left's gone.
Yeah.
Even though 90s liberalism is pretty much the foundation of their entire beliefs.
Yeah, if you judge people by their character, then you are a Nazi.
It's not just right wing; it's far right.
Yeah. So if you don't judge people by the color of their skin right now, you are a racist.
So
that is literally their position.
Anyone who disagrees with Mr. Bopper or Professor Bopper is right wing. Is that what it comes down to?
That probably as well, because how could you disagree with the absolute divine truth of the gnosis, Gnostic god of socialist, communist noncery?
All right.
That's Mr. Bopper to you, Wisp.
All right.
Mr. Bopperty?
Here's Exton Zero one more time. Does Bopper look like a handsome young boy, Smud? I have no idea what he looks like, actually. Is it an anime avatar, I think?
I'm pretty sure he would love to.
Okay. Well,
if it's anime avatar, then it usually means you're one ugly motherfucker, so...
Oh, damn.
Anyway, let's not.
Sorry, no offense to all those anime people.
Let's not go there. Let's just keep going.
As if right-wing cultural domination was inevitable.
Wait. What is cultural domination, first off? And then what is right-wing cultural domination? Like, what are you talking about? Does anyone have any idea what left-wing?
Yeah, so the left completely dominated culture in a media sense.
Really?
Because they just took over the positions of power.
That's culture?
Yeah, and that's
culture,
when it's good.
So
that's when it's good. It's
politics
okay.
is culture. Is that what you're saying?
Everything is politics.
I'm saying, everything's politics, Smud. It's been explained by a man of superior intelligence.
Sorry.
I don't know where he is, but no. But the cultural domination in their mind is obviously controlling, obviously, the internet, memes, films, games, that sort of stuff. Yeah.
I'm quite sure most conservatives, especially on the right in America right now, are against controlling the internet. In fact, they're trying to roll those back.
It depends.
What I mean by control of the internet, as in they are the only voices allowed to talk on the internet. So
look at people. Look at guys like Ben Shapiro. He pretends to be a conservative, but he's all for this authoritarian stuff as well. Just that his camp is gonna do it.
Yeah,
that is in favor for his camp, and that's.
So long as Israel
that's just the same problem.
Is in power and strong and healthy and has support and money and resources and missiles and all that good stuff for Israel. It's a weird thing.
For example, and shoving out fake photographs and stuff to push an emotional agenda, and while he before is all about it's all about the facts, and facts don't care about your feelings. By the way, here have some doctored photos so that you do as I tell you to. Crap off.
All right.
I'm kind of disappointed that they got rid of Brett Cooper. That Snow White looked like it was going to be good.
Well, I think the popularity of the Daily Wire decreased as a result of the election, just because there's no need to have that level of not discourse, but that level of reaction to the problems of who's in power, because now they're in power. So it's like,
it's all about pressure.
Materialized, and it hasn't materialized because the right wing produces no culture.
Really?
What?
Excuse you?
So wait a second. Is there a cultural domination? If so, what does that look like? And why can't the right do it if the left can do it? What do you talk like? What is going on? What is the function of this?
The right doesn't create culture. Holy.
The right doesn't create culture, and yet the right dominates culture. That would imply that the right does create culture.
You mean all of these churches in Europe? They aren't created by some right wing thing. So the church isn't right wing, and all this reactionary anime in Japan that all shows us healthy, curvaceous women and even relationships between men and women, and tells boys to be courageous and get up again when they fall down and are punched down, and just fight for what they believe in, and fight for the weak, and for the girl, for the princess, and that's not culture, and that's not right wing or either or both.
I'm quite sure.
No, Wisp, don't believe your lying eyes.
I'm quite sure electing a president who started dismantling a lot of the various government or non-government entity programs which caused things to be generated like culture in other countries or across the world might have something to do with it. And I don't see inherently what's wrong with separation of church and state if we're going to go that argument of like, okay, there's no church and related to the government. Why would the election of a new president cause any kind of cultural dominate? Like, what is that? How does that work?
So what the reason why he says what he says is because the left has been culturally dominant for decades, and will for a good while more, because they still hold power in all the institutions, Hollywood especially, and the government can funnel all the tax money to all these garbage game companies and movie projects that we learned were actually tax funded in large parts, which otherwise they could not have developed these garbage titles for what 6, 7, 8 years. This Dustborn thing that was effectively tax funded. That's insane. That was Antifa propaganda. The other thing is, or the main thing is that they because they're losing the grip on their cultural imperialism, because that's what they are doing. They always complain about, it's cultural imperialism if you tell the indigenous people of somewhere to dig a well or force them to have wheels and cars and trains. That's cultural imperialism. But when the left is doing cultural imperialism, erasing other cultures, not caring about what natives think, or placing peoples of one culture into another, thereby disrupting it, and disruption is destruction, that's okay when they do it. And they lose their grip on that, and they will call things cultural imperialism when it goes against their hegemony and their encroachment further. That's all it is. It's the calling people. So that, to put it very, very simply, they're the kids on the schoolyard that go around and punch all the other kids, and when then one of the other kids goes punching back, they say, "Oh no, violence is bad. You shouldn't punch people." That's what this is. Because they want, and when then the other kids then get a feel remorseful for, oh no, he's right, I shouldn't hit others, because it inflicts pain. Then this shitty kid starts again punching the other kids, being a shitty kid. Well, that's all the left does. That's all it is, on repeat.
I just realized, because I wasn't looking up, why MGS1 is always on the screen. Is there is like a channel issue? Like he likes Kojima, or he likes this game and he just wants to keep showing it? Is it like his thing?
It's probably a metaphor for communism or something.
Well, maybe
in his mind.
Kojima is a very political guy in terms of the content he creates.
Yeah, but Kojima is a movie buff, so I'm assuming that's kind of what he likes. Maybe, I don't know. I really couldn't say.
Can't you see the detail on those toilet stalls?
On There's 900 poly objects. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I mean to put so much detail in this onto these super low graphics, this super low resolution. That's just what is the author trying to tell us here?
Great thud. We
women's
saw that their
toilets are
wheelhouse
disgusting.
was Pablum. Even with the Phantom of Victory on their side,
The Phantom of I don't want. This is getting into poetry. I'm just gonna keep going.
gamer gates have multiplied, and somehow become
The
Wait,
gamer
hold on.
gates have multiple.
Hold on. So you took what's best about this is this tweet got like 12 likes and was ratioed to hell saying, "What are you even on about?"
What
This guy
Gamergate
has
3?
no-
There hasn't even been a second one.
No, Gamergate 2 was with Helldivers, weren't it?
Oh, really?
What?
Yeah, it started in 2024
Yeah.
Who called it
It was
that
against
on the left?
on the 10th
Yeah, but
anniversary.
no. Yeah, but what happened with it is it was against that Sweet Baby Inc. And it really actually it did work. Because Sweet Baby Inc. just got absolutely battered. But people like John Del Arrows or whatever is it saying weren't part of it. They actually opposed it. Then he put this. I've seen this tweet. My response to it got more likes than what he got.
Really?
No one agrees with him at all. So this guy's just taken one random tweet that no one agreed with and says, "Oh look here, this is the evidence."
What are you
Like,
saying?
no.
John De La Rose is a psyop. Is it a double agent? The false flag.
All right. Well, obviously he's nitpicking.
And not
gamer online.
agent provocateur.
I guess it's called gamer culture. I don't know what we call Gamergate anymore, but all right. I guess it's a bad thing. I don't know. In his world, it is.
How about you just don't do the socialism?
Yeah.
and sillier. Rage content about black characters and trans characters and the gay agenda and body type character creators can
What's wrong with getting angry about stupid shit in your games that don't belong? What is wrong with that?
Yeah. Why do you have to make up stupid shit like body type A and body type B? Why do you
We're
need to
going down,
make that?
Scroogins is woke.
If it's so irrelevant as you say, then why can't we just take it out again? If it's so irrelevant as you say, why did you have to put it in? If it is so irrelevant as you say, why are you making a fuss when we want to take it out again? Or when we do take it out again?
Whisp, he's going down the route of woke just doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's going down the second stage. He's done his obtuse obliviousness. He's now going on to the woke doesn't exist, but it has always existed. Blah blah blah, and that's how it always goes.
We've been on this roller
people-
coaster yesterday, 10 minutes earlier in this video. He's done the same thing. It's like a constant. We're on the second lap on the same roller coaster.
Yeah, he's just doing it's the same three defenses what they use.
Well, his main technique is the first one, I think. He's just obfuscating to death with words. And we're sitting there like, what is he talking
No,
about?
hang on, no. He's obtuse, and then he likes his insults. So he's using the first and third parts.
Yeah.
The second part is he's not quite got that yet, but it's the same three things over and over again, and it's why these arguments are so boring now. You know exactly what they're going to go with. Like right now, he's going to go, "Oh well, wokeness doesn't really exist," so you're an idiot for even talking about it.
Also, I know
It's like, why is there a gay? Why are they putting gay stuff in? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? Oh, well, it's because they're part of this progressive ideology that needs to insert it into every single thing that we do. There's no other reason for that to be there.
Also, I noticed you used a clip from Az's live stream of that Bethesda game,
Starfield.
Yeah. So I'm predicting that he's going to be using the fucking pronouns clip. Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, I can feel that coming.
We're at 15 minutes.
As was ranting from my heart.
All right. Let's go.
10 million years of AI images of what hot women really look like.
They do. They do.
Go back.
I'm very sorry. The girls in your village are all ugly. Seriously,
But the thing
I
is,
mean,
these are not AI images on the screen. These are images from the games.
Continues with a million years of AI.
Okay.
look, I'm really sorry.
So
Like,
the
the,
one
the
on the
girl
left
on the right exists. I have
looks like-
seen her and those like her numerous
Yeah.
times. I'm like, yes, not every girl was kissed by Aphrodite. Yes, it's sad. But that doesn't mean everybody's a horrible person. However, it also doesn't mean that no girls like this exist. And it is usually the ugly feminists who try to tear down the pretty girls and try to tell them, "Hey, shave off your hair."
The point that
the one on the left,
sorry, go on.
unironically looks like Will Poulter.
Yes.
She just looks like she's past menopause.
Or had too many donuts
No.
for 2 years.
She literally looks like the actor Will Poulter. Just
I don't know who that is.
You don't? Oh. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm more sophisticated than you since I watch more movies, but of course. I must remember that.
Maybe if you use more adjectives and swear words, maybe we
specifically
Will
when he
fucking Poulter.
was in the Maze Runner.
Anyway, the girl on the right looks gorgeous. Let's keep going.
Images of what hot women really look like.
That all those images there are from games of women looking ugly.
Uh-huh.
This is not AI, not anything like that. That is literally screenshots and captures from games, and that's what they look like.
And the moment that encapsulated everything was, I don't remember the year, but it was pretty early on, when a bunch of ugly feminists complained about an advertisement poster in the London subway. Exactly, the Beachbody Ready thing, which depicted a young, very well trained girl with a wonderful face, a nice body, and just that was a real person. And they complained that that's an unrealistic woman. How is somebody who exists unrealistic? And that was not somebody who went through surgery to look like a Barbie doll or something, or some really deranged proportion things. No, that was a very normal girl. But the left, the feminists, which is the same thing, because they are the ones playing onto the base emotions of people, and they mainly play on greed and jealousy. And that's what that is. They want to dismantle beauty because that's how they can appeal to all the ugly ones. And not all the ugly ones, but the ugly ones who are just jealous. There are those who understand they're not tens, and they're okay with it. And they have beautiful smiles.
I don't understand the insult to AI, not to say that it's a proper use of art resources, but you can use an amalgamation of faces, body types, etc. to get very beautiful people or character-looking people, because that's what beauty is. It is an amalgamation of everything, and it's a very simple theory called the law of averages. In the animal kingdom, it's called koinophilia. Mates seek out the average of everything when they seek a mate, not necessarily money and status. But when you talk about physical characteristics, it is the summation of all, it is the gestalt of all your experiences in your subconscious mind. Say, this person is the most attractive because they have the average of all the cheekbones and all the distance between the nose and the eyes and the lips and the chins, etc. So,
and please tell me why you hire beautiful actresses to face model for your characters to then turn them butt ugly and deranged, while the male actors that you model the characters after, you don't change.
Yeah, they don't just hit the model with an ugly stick. They take the face on a tour of the entire fucking forest.
Oh yeah, in the case of Mass Effect Andromeda, they beat it with the ugly stick. In the case of other games, they just replaced the actual one that was in that Spider-Man game, where they replaced the Mary Jane face model that they actually hired with, I believe, that
Lord
of an alleged trans woman on the team.
No. It
It
wasn't.
was Lord Farquaad.
It was just a woman writer, I think it was.
Oh, it was just an ugly woman.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
we're at 15 minutes.
It's hard to tell these days, you know?
Okay, let's keep going.
Electoral victory. Nothing has changed.
What is strange? Why would Mr. Trump getting elected change video game? Like, what are you talking? Like, this is the dumbest shit.
So Dragon Age Veilguard was created in 2014. Well, it was started in 2014. How would Donald Trump come into power in 2024 have changed anything?
Canada versus a Canadian game versus an American election. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. One nation voted in a quotation marks right-wing person. Right. God, culture around the world didn't turn right-wing. Well, yeah.
I still remember John Oliver's amazing campaigning for Trump.
Well,
But the thing
It
is,
was beautiful.
as a result of Trump getting elected, in fact, Canada became more liberal as a result the next year. So, I don't know.
What I find funny though is, nothing's changed and all that, but you're terrified of it changing. You're absolutely terrified, but you know it will change.
And
He's terrified
even
of his power
Yeah.
slipping away.
And I will say,
Even the slightest sidestep.
I will say the reason why Canada went more liberal or voted liberal again wasn't because the liberals were so bad. Everyone knew how bad they were, but the liberals in Canada hated Trump more. They would rather kill their own country, kill their own future, just because they hated Trump more. This is how crazy this mindset is. I don't know if you guys were aware of Canadian politics, pre-2025. Liberals were on Trudeau was getting kicked out.
They were getting pounded left, right, and centre.
This is just natural cycle as conservatives and liberals get reelected. This happens every cycle. It could be 5 years, it could be 10 years. No one knows. We were slated to get a majority in the Westminster parliamentary system, which means the person or the party in power does whatever they want, essentially. Within the span of 4 to 5 months, we had I can't remember, it was 40 or 60 point lead and lose it to a 20-30 loss. It is all because Trump put his wonderful economic plan into action. That's it. Well, he said a bunch of crazy stuff too, but that's normal. Like, we're going to annex Canada and blah, blah. So our Liberal Party played into that fear and says, we're going to fight back. We're strong. We're independent, blah, blah, blah. Elbows up. These stupid slogans that made no sense. And what's happening? We're capitulating. We're giving them exactly what they want. We're dropping
I don't think people, because I was obviously paying attention to it and stuff. And honestly, Trudeau was getting smashed more than his mum did when Fidel Castro came to visit. So, he was on death's door. And then Mark Carney came along, and this guy's not a politician. He's a sleazy banker whose only bit of recognition was leading a revolt against a British Prime Minister who wanted to lower taxes.
Oh no.
That's literally it.
Yeah. And he's
from one crook to another.
Yeah, Mark Carney deliberately tanked the British economy to oust a British Prime Minister who dared lower taxes.
Yeah, and Canadians our children are screwed out of a future. We can't buy houses. We have too many immigrants. They've increased immigration this year. I don't know how or why. This is nothing to do with culture. This is just hatred.
It's Babylon.
And it's just of all the things to do. This is the next cycle of I don't know if we're going to have the same parliament this year. I have no clue, because no one can go. We're not traveling to the States. We hate the States now, just because we're not traveling there, and we still have. I don't know what the term is, but we took all the American products off our shelves as we could, because most of our products are American anyway.
It's a boycott.
It's like that, but they just like, you can't boycott something that's not there. So it's like, they just.
Well, it's a state-run boycott.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So we're just like sitting in limbo, going, we can't buy houses, we can't get married, we can't start a family, we can't move, we can't sell.
That's called. Smart, you're describing the elements of a passive-aggressive genocide.
It's something like a slow burn of death. It's just you sit there and
Yes.
you're stuck. I can move out, but
this is how you do passive-aggressive eugenics.
anyway.
And if you want to note, what Hawk just but just to wrap it up, what Hawk just described, the end point of that you see currently going on in China. And if you want to know what that really looks like, I urge you to go watch the China Show. It's a wonderful channel here on YouTube. They get wonderfully censored by YouTube as well. Like, they don't appear in the algorithm like many of the other critics of the left. And then there's China Uncensored. They do it in the short format. And then the hosts all have their individual channels where they go about some things individually. I urge you to take a look. This is what the globalists envision for our future. Because like Trudeau, like the German left, like the British left, they all never criticize China. And they all gush about, how wonderful it would be if we could just rule here in the West like China does. Trudeau did it, Habeck did it, Starmer did it. This is what the future is supposed to be from their eyes.
All right. We are at 50.
This is what this guy is defending.
50 minutes and 10. I'm not sure what he's defending. He's culture nuts. I don't know what he's on about.
Well, he's obfuscating. He wants the left to be in rule, and the left steers us towards the Chinese system.
Yeah, he's going down the path of he's not very happy that there might be a slight change in the wind of culture, so he's having a tantrum while trying to sound pretentious. So that's it. That's all it is.
All right.
Yeah, resisting left-wing fascism is fascism. Didn't you know?
No, everything's fascism.
Moves are still behaving the same, lashing out every day
Oh, there's what do you get? There he is. I was waiting for that.
the existence of black people and trans people.
At the existence. No. We don't care about the existence of a person because they have different colored skin. That's silly. No one's saying that.
The left wants us to care about the skin.
Embarrassing toddler tantrums.
I'm gonna be straight up. You can have one different race character in a fantasy universe if it's especially explained through lore.
What?
I mean,
Yes, you can. What's wrong with that? The elven character of a lost dead race is still there. How'd they get there? Well, they survived through adoption agencies and strife, and they found solace in a nice old family. And then they found the hero, and the elven chick go on adventures. That's fine. You could do that. Happens in pretty much most of the isekai I read. So we don't care. And if something does not feel like it fits, there should be a backstory. And most of these stories know that. Most of these authors, because they read other authors who have been doing this for years, not necessarily fantasy or isekai, but any kind of story where someone, how did a robot get here? Well, we should do a backstory about that. And they have one whole comic dedicated to explaining that. That's normal. That's how storytelling works. So one guy on a podcast saying, hey, you could put a black Agrabota in Ragnarok. Sure, just explain it. And
No.
They never did. They never explained it.
The literal embodiment of anger that corrupts logos to the point that it creates the embodiment of death, which is hell, the embodiment of absolute malice, which is the world serpent, and the embodiment of all-consuming rage, which is Fenrir.
Well,
Yeah. Let's make her a black African. I think that fits into American reality. I suppose.
If they explain the skin tone, saying, "Oh, she's a shapeshifter," okay, well, why did she choose that? How did she choose that? And then, well, the problem was that she had a grandmother who's a giant, who's also a shapeshifter, who's also black, and you're like, wait a second,
Why?
Why would you complicate things even more? And she's mad. So it's like, okay, so if you got
And
this...
drug addicted. Instead of eating children as she does in the real mythos and the Icelandic one, no, they made her into just being an abuser of animals who gets high on whiffing their souls.
Yeah, it's like this could work if you just spent the extra 2 minutes to explain why and how this came about. You're like, okay, the giants were hiding. They were trying to get away, and they ran to the southern world. In the southern world, there were people that treated them well, so they took on their face. It's like, great, done, good enough. And the big black crazy giant is drug addicted nut bar. Great, we'll go with that. Like, that could have been it. And we'd be like, all right, fair. But they didn't do that. They're in Scandinavia with no reason, rhyme, or what the hell they're doing there.
But I just get vitamin D deficiency.
How did they? Yeah, stay out in the sun for decades or centuries or however long that takes. You're like, all right. I mean, that's stupid, but she's a shapeshifter. I could choose anything. No, I'll be a black little girl. Like, all right. Here's my big black grandmother giant. Like, what?
Yeah, and Harvard Inspector in the chat. Yeah, that's what I said. Don't need. Thanks for repeating it. But to cut it short, the only good knife here is one that slays demons.
Okay.
Because we're talking about elves.
To be fair to conservatives,
Those guys are not conservatives.
Can't make art. James Woods exists. Ingmar Bergman existed. And Clint Eastwood is a highly respected artist and also a deep conservative.
So how could you then say, if you know this, then how could you say that the right doesn't create? When that is the very thing that the right, which is the Young Association, does.
Because Whisp, and I hate to disabuse you of whatever notion you have of honesty in this guy. He's lying.
I know, but the way, one of the ways.
Well,
one of the ways that you unveil a liar to be a liar is by steel-manning his argument, by giving him the benefit of the doubt, and looking at this and thinking through his argument in the best possible way, and it's still failing, and it's still showing that you can't actually say this in good faith. You must that. Either you are completely out of your mind, or you're trying to pull our leg. And this here begs the question: Why did he talk about the very opposite minutes earlier, and now he's basically contradicting his own point of contention that he made only to insult and to antagonize.
Well, look at movies, for example. We have Mel Gibson. I don't know if he's left-leaning, but he made movies about, Christ.
No, he's against Gibson's against the woke.
Yeah, for sure. I think he is. There's Johnny Cash. He's a traditional kind of guy. He made music. I'm trying to think of like C.S. Lewis and Tolkien. They were pretty much Catholic, so I'm assuming that's traditional as well.
Tolkien's so
let me just point something out, right? Every single creator pre-1945 is pretty much right-wing, outside of Marx.
Okay.
Compared to what obviously this guy stands, his position. So the idea that they're not right-wing, there's no right-wing people can't create anything, well, that's a complete lie. The reason it doesn't look like right-wing people can create anything is because the left-wing took control of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And kicks out right-wingers, so it just keeps their ideology. That's why the left can only succeed when they have complete, total control. And this is why this guy's upset, because wokeness has gone so far that it's destroying everything, destroying media. The normies have got fed up with it. They don't want to see it anymore, and now the left is losing the power through their fingers. So this is why he's coming out insulting people and claiming everyone's stupid and he's smart, because he's absolutely terrified that without the complete control of the discourse, no one's going to listen to him and no one's going to, agree with him.
Yeah, because the left can only maintain control by pretending to be the majority. And that is how they see democracy. They know that there are actually very, very few people that run this thing. And they use democracy not for the sake of democracy in some honest, virtuous way. They only use it as a tool to gain power. And by telling you that, we're actually totally the majority, and because we are the majority, you should do as we say. But if the other guys are the majority, then you need to rebel. Because they are a threat to our democracy.
All right, here is Exton Zero. Thank you for the 5, sir. Agribotus says, shapeshifting is exclusive with the gods, except for Thiazi in 2018, who shapeshifted to a bird, a story about also retcon to shit. I don't remember her saying that, but then again, I barely watch those clips, so that's silly. That's like, if she can't shapeshift, that means she was the ice giants were naturally black? Is that what?
The game doesn't make any bloody sense.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get on. We're at almost 16 minutes. All right.
Is a conservative film.
Okay.
A story of an old man discovering model minority myth.
Model minority myth. Is that the one where the Chinese are not all geniuses?
Korean. Gran Torino. So about Koreans.
I thought they were being...
Yeah, he's Korean. Yeah, because he's a Korean War veteran.
I see.
In the film.
Well, I'm assuming the minority myth or the model minority has to do with all the Chinese are brilliant or whatever. When you look at the stats, most of them are anyway. Like the actual numbers, if you look at
it's the model minority is look at these immigrants, how they exude all the good points of American culture. Don't you see they're just as American as you and I are? Look how good they are. So that's it.
All right.
And while the film is informed by Eastwood's conservative politics, it also challenges the trope of the quiet, macho American hero that Eastwood himself helped popularize from modern age. Even if his conclusions are ultimately conservative, he is challenging himself as an actor. The tropes...
He's really? I really don't think he's... But okay, maybe he is. He's an old guy. He's behind as well as in front of the camera.
Yeah, he changes stuff up because he just gets shot to pieces at the end. Instead of, he doesn't kill anyone or shoot anybody. He just walks up to him and pretends to have a gun, gets shot so they get arrested. And then he gives all his belongings to the Korean family.
It pulls out a fact, then it pulls out a lighter. It makes it look like it's got from both times.
It's peak 90s liberalism.
Ah.
That's the movie. It's peak. Yeah, it's like a boomer got hold of a book about 90s liberalism and went, yes, that's what we need to do. I made a movie about it.
And myths around his art, and even challenges some conservative ideals. Gran Torino ends with Eastwood cutting his immediate family out of his will and leaving his hot ride to Tao, a Hmong teenager who he grew close to in his final months.
Wait, what? Hold on. Did he just...
Wow.
What are these conservative ideals? Tell me. I want to know.
The conservative
I want to know what you believe that they believe.
It's conservative ideals of giving money to his family after he dies.
I want to go back to that description. What he just said. Did he just say a Hmong teenager?
A humong.
He is challenging himself as an actor, the tropes and myths he's built around his art, and even challenges some conservative ideals. Gran Torino ends with Eastwood cutting his immediate family out of his will and leaving his hot ride to Tao, a Hmong teenager who...
A Hmong teenager?
A Hmong. That means mongrel or Mongolian. It's a short for it's an umbrella for various slurs you can use here. And this shows you how wonderfully racist the left actually is, unironically, because he did not say this. He did not say this as a joke.
The word itself is considered a slur.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We're stunning. Every time.
He's not.
Time.
No. Hang on. The Hmong, spelt HMONG, are an ethnic group primarily located in Southeast Asia, particularly China, Vietnam, Laos, and Thailand. They're also found in other parts of the world due to migration, including the United States. The Hmong are known for their distinct cultural traditions.
Okay, wonderful.
Didn't say what it is.
Wonderful. You know what the problem is with actually naming him that? Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that exists. You just had to look that up. And thanks that you did, but absolutely nobody knows that this ethnic group exists, and to everybody else, it just sounds like he just called him a Hmong.
Yeah, the irony is, I'm looking up about the key characteristics of them, and it just goes, the Hmong language is the Hmong language. You're like, okay, that means nothing. The culture is rich and diverse, encompassing traditions. It's like, okay, if you just have traditions.
It's full of Africans. It does diverse mean it's full of Africans?
They're quite, I'll be honest with you, they're quite right-wing as a people. So I don't know what he's hoping for. Anyway, thank God for Google, eh?
Oh, to him it only matters that the Western world is given to non-Westerners.
Yeah, he's a foreigner, yeah.
Why would a conservative man give money to conservatives? Oh my God. Anyway.
He grew his final months. Wow. Did Eastwood just cut his white family out and leave his car to an Asian American?
So
I literally just called that.
So when you
this is great because he just gives money to foreigners.
Yeah, when you have camaraderie between people and you're an ex-Marine or ex-military guy, that's kind of normal. That's kind of,
Yeah, what actually happens in the movie is his actual immediate family, they're entitled pricks who don't actually care about him, and the family next door that he gets to know and starts to get along with, he likes them, they appreciate him, and they're thankful to him for saving that lad there from going down a dark path. And so, yeah, he leaves everything to the people who actually appreciate him.
Yeah, that is something that happens in real life more often than this guy's aware of, probably. I've had a lot of funny stories of very rich people giving their money away to friends more than their family. They do give out to their family, but they mostly to their friends because their friends actually respected them and treated them well. So yeah, this is not this amazingly unheard of idea. Maybe if the character that Clint Eastwood played was a massive curmudgeon, and his heart melted a bit, that might be a little more believable. But
yeah, that is what happens.
Yeah,
his neighbours were more right wing, and his family was more left wing. Yeah, so he basically punished the left wingers, and he rewarded the right wingers.
He connects to the people he believes in that are his friends and trusts them.
And he's leaving that out. I would boil it down to: blood is thicker than water, but virtue is thicker than blood.
Well, the full phrase is, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb.
Which is virtue.
All right.
Grew close to in his final months. Wow. Did Eastwood just cut his white family out and leave his car to an Asian American? Gran Torino challenges the conservative view of family as a nuclear, isolated, racially homogenous unit, and redefines family as a web of emotional connections rather than name and bloodline. Eastwood challenges himself as a person and artist with Gran Torino in a way that you just do not see from David.
He's an actor-director. How is he challenging his worldview? This is getting too pretentious for me. This is silly.
That's not so.
All it is this. He sees family as just being a white thing, and because he's a leftist, he doesn't like families.
He doesn't like white families.
He doesn't like white families.
Because look, if you look at all the socialists, the higher level ones, all the rich ones, the top tier ones, and whichever ethnicity they are from, They all have stable families and keep everything in the family and are extremely nepotistic in that they give wealth and positions of power to family members like any mafia would. They just want all of you to not do that so that you are no threat to them and remain nicely atomized so that you can be nicely exploited, manipulated, and forced. That's it.
He is such a bare basic fucking leftist that it's actually embarrassing that he thinks he's smarter than he is.
Yeah, and Mr. Eastwood here is not challenging himself. No, he has already thought about this before he made this video, this movie. He thought about these things, experienced them. Otherwise, he couldn't have made it. He's not challenging himself through this movie, within this movie. He already did any thinking and processing about these things. The left does not understand time. It does not understand causality. And that goes so perfectly in line with their rejection of existence itself.
Yeah,
it's surprising. It's anti-profound.
When you name the title of your movie after the car, and the last scene of the movie is about giving away the car to whomever he chooses. I mean, oh wow, look at that! It's as if it's a short story that has a very tight script and easy to follow.
Oh, well, basically the introduction of the teenager and the final scene, they are about him getting the car. Because the first scene with him is where Clint Eastwood's character meets him, is where he's trying to steal the country. Do you know?
All right, 17 minutes. 5 minutes left, or no, 6 minutes left.
Daily Wire or Glenn Beck novels. Even though art often serves political purposes and is frequently informed by the artist's politics and artistic culture, a culture that can win a culture war requires artists that are imaginative, inward.
Tell me what the culture war
how
is.
that?
Who is warring the culture?
Wisp, hold on. How is there a culture war if the right doesn't have culture?
That's a good question.
Did you know that ice cream
I want to know who the participants are in the culture war.
Yeah, but
artists... I thought the culture war is a conspiracy theory that doesn't exist. How can he talk about the culture war being there right now again?
Did you guys know?
It's just that our left-wing newspapers write about the culture war all the damn time. And 2 years ago, in I think May, there was an article about we should take a break in the culture war so that we don't lose all the things we have achieved by overextending, and then the other side rolling it all back. And strangely enough, in that year, suddenly
didn't
all around the world, the left dialed it down.
Well, did you guys...
I was going to say, didn't they say just a week before that article that there is no culture war, it's just a right-wing conspiracy theory?
They constantly say that while also saying that we need to culture war even more. Well, it's the same thing as with everything else that they do. That they say, it's not happening. By the way, we must do more of it.
Well, I didn't know that artists need to be imaginative. That's a revelation to artists everywhere, to use your imagination to create art. Or a delivery man has to have strong arms to pick up stuff, or a car driver, a taxi driver has to own a car and have a driver's license. A bricklayer has to know how to shape bricks. Just amazing ideas that this person's bringing to this video that we're learning about life. Culture war.
This is what I mean. He's such a basic leftist. Like, he thinks he's like the most intelligent person in a room. And he's got like the bare basic knowledge of everything.
It's called a midwit.
Now, I am curious what it means to be imaginative inward. I don't know how you be imaginative outward. I don't know if that's like...
Isn't that just a really clever black guy?
I don't know. I have no idea.
You went imaginative N-word.
Okay.
Dream driven by that ethereal voice that compels.
Oh, that's even more pretentious bullshit. Oh my god.
The ethereal voice.
You're in the ethereal voice. kill everybody.
Imaginative inward dreamers. There can't just be imaginative inward dreamers as artists. They have to be driven by that ethereal voice.
You mean God?
Oh man!
I thought God is bad. I thought we need to be anti-God.
Is this where someone explains some that those tablets you're meant to take to stop the voices doesn't mean you're an artist?
Maybe that's why he knows so much about the id, and he's been taking therapy lessons from psychoanalysts that help him out through.
It was revealed to him in a dream.
Through deep meditation.
The ethereal. Is he talking about in a monologue?
Are you? But wouldn't that require that he can rotate an apple in his head?
Yeah. No, not should rotate an apple. Can you imagine an apple in your head?
Well, you can imagine.
Well, of course, you
applesauce.
need to imagine the apple first before you can rotate it. But
Exactly.
Details.
Yeah, but only the right wing can do the applesauce brain. So
I have a problem. The apple just suddenly turned into a ballerina.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you have different issues then, but
my apple turned into a 5'6" blonde busty model. Whatever will I do? Please, no brain.
That's because the marble is round,
I was
testicles.
But then it sprouted legs and became a woman and was pirouetting.
We might be onto something here. Why he was talking about applesauce brains? Because when of course the apple rotation does not function fully anymore, the apple might just turn into sauce.
All right. Anyway.
Your voice.
Maybe if it rotates too fast.
Question. When the extent of one's thoughts is anger at a black man in Assassin's Creed.
That's not what they're...
Anger. That is such a well-poisoning reduction.
Anyway, let's just skip that. This is so stupid.
Have you tried not being obtuse?
I thought cultural imperialism is bad, and here suddenly we must cultural imperialize Japan. And have the big black man slaughter all the Japanese people.
Let's move on.
Why is it being a
woman in The Little Mermaid or LGBT characters existing at all?
It's okay, come on.
He's just bringing all the points now.
This is so silly.
That's what I mean. It's so bare basic. This is just like, you just don't like LGBT. Yeah, I don't like him. What are you going to do about it? What, cry? Cry another video? Go on, tell me how I'm wrong.
You know what?
Meaty pants.
Kingdom Come was a pretty historically accurate thing. Or what is the other word? Historically authentic thing. Yeah, you know what people did to the Sodomites? You know what they did to the Sodomites in the Norse culture? They didn't. They weren't very nice, let's say. And because it spreads disease. Simple as that.
Well,
that's the main reason. Go on.
I was going to say about the third element, the LGBT characters existing. We've been have that at least in British media for the past 30 years.
Can't the LGBT exist over there, where they don't hurt anybody and are not in everybody's face all the time, so that you need to take a shower every 5 minutes from their jizz?
It's fine to include it. It's silly to include it in period pieces like 100 years ago, where there's like black and white couples. I mean, okay, maybe that did happen, but it wasn't public and it wasn't accepted.
And it was always absolutely exceptional.
It was illegal.
Yeah,
so, it was illegal.
So when you have when I have these period pieces, or like I was watching, what was that PBS? Not the Moonflower Murders, the Magpie Murders, and in this period piece, there's this couple who's black, or the black girl and the white boy, and you're like, they're getting married. Like, okay, that's different in 1940s or wherever it was. I think it was 1955 in Britain. I don't know when they got rid of the laws there for interracial marriage or what have you.
I think it's around about the 60s.
Yeah, but this was a small village home. I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is permissible. Maybe
no, it wouldn't be.
That's what I thought. But they just keep going with it, and I'm like, all right, this is what they do in the BBC in the past 30 years. They just keep with the interracial couples. So And the same with the spinsters. Of course they're gay. There's always a subplot or a character who is homosexual, male homosexual, always, somewhere. They did that with the actor from Vienna Blood before he was in Vienna Blood. He was in Magpie. You're like, okay, like I get it. Like no one cares because it has nothing to do with the plot, but it's just there. It has to be there in both stories. I'm like, this is too much. Can't we just have characters playing?
No, we need race quotas.
That's what it feels like. There's some sort of quota for. Do we have a lesbian?
What it feels like? It's written out. The BBC has written it out.
Yeah, the main character, one of the main characters has
Disney
to be bisexual.
has written it out.
One of them has to be in an interracial relationship. One of them has to be, I don't know, a fetishist.
Have you heard what's recently come out?
Statistics. We're not watching. Yeah, we're not watching stories. We're watching statistics.
I'll let Whisp finish.
Sorry, Hawk. Go on. I'm done.
Right. Being completely serious here, there's this guy called Lewis Bracknell, and he's got a Freedom of Information request from the government. And it turns out the government has actually been pushing the BBC to insert propaganda to push onto the population. So, like, they're pushing progressive ideology, even down to, like, COVID stuff. So they deliberately were telling, like, the creators of the BBC, put this stuff in it because we want to push it out as propaganda.
Yeah, I could buy that.
So
let me just pretend to be shocked.
Oh yeah, but obviously we're all like, oh my god, this is just, we all knew about it. But
exactly, yeah.
For the government to actually admit it is huge. To say like, oh yeah, we were just pushing propaganda onto you. It's like, oh great. So
the spirit of Guy Fawkes is alive and well in every single English person in the country.
There's a reason why I don't pay my television license. So
what the government should be terrified of is when the will of Guy Fawkes awakens in every single English person.
Yes. But look, Fred, the thing is that 100 years ago, people went to riot when the beer price was raised by 2 pennies, whether England or Germany. Now, the spirit of Guy Fawkes keeps sitting on the couch, just complaining into a screen, into a black mirror. And that is exactly as they wanted to happen.
No, what actually happens, Wisp, is the second any white people try to organise, they get arrested.
Yes, that's the next thing. Because
that's not the next thing. That's the thing that's happening. Wisp,
yes.
I'm
from the next.
See it all the time.
I'm not disagreeing. I meant the next thing from the spirit of Guy Fawkes is supposed to sit on the couch, demoralized, and just venting into a black mirror, making memes to laugh about how horrible it is. But by that very venting through memes, that emotional pressure is reduced so that the spirit of Guy Fawkes will never get up. And when that catalytic moment happens, then, yes, you only have those few starting people that then start something, as it always happens in any, even revolution, if we want to use the big words. And the government knows, now we can arrest you. It's made so that it cannot actually go forth unless somehow magically we have this event like in the color revolutions, where somehow for some reason everybody collectively gets up, and that which is not organizable. In China currently, you have factory fires every day. It's a big country, there's a lot of factories, and they're not paying their workers anymore. They can't. And so the disgruntled workers, they will do that for a while. The Chinese people, the actual people, are very patient. They're even more patient than we are. But even they have their breaking points. And that they're long past their breaking points. But since these are all isolated events, and this is a highly high surveillance society, where the Orwellian dystopia is in full effect, it's really, really difficult for that coming together and actually toppling the communists. But it's constantly happening there. It's constantly on the brink. It's like a cancer cell. A cancer cell is not actually immortal. It's just reverted to an anaerobic state of metabolism. So it's not running on oxygen anymore. It runs on glucose. The moment you take away the glucose, it dies. It starves properly. Every cell can do that because this is a very primordial way of metabolism. And the question is, what is the glucose of society that if it disappears, the cancer actually dies?
Whisp, it's too early in the morning to be talking like this. I can't answer these questions.
All right.
I'm sorry.
I came here to listen to leftists babble.
Okay,
there was some a revolution.
Anyway,
there were some questions in the chat. I'll get to them later.
all right, let's continue.
You cannot build a rich artistic culture. The
Really?
promise of Grums.
The promise of did Crumbs ever? I don't think Grums ever promised anything, but fine. Let's see what he has to say.
He did promise a game with a very wonderful title and some very, very enticing initial footage, and it's not there.
Well, that's Danganronpa, I think. That bear.
No, Ember. I want Ember. Give me Ember.
Good friend of mine, we DM all the time. I call him Goondog. Is that if we put games back in the hands of gamers, uncensor John Stellarblade, get rid of
John Stellarblade?
What?
What is that? Joe?
I think it's a play on how people refer to a Master Chief as John Halo and Stellarblade.
Okay.
Being
purple
popular.
hair and women from Wolfenstein and crush the woke agenda, then games will be back. What games?
Are you kidding?
What are the games?
I mean, I'd like to see a new Assassin's Creed game.
Okay, well
that would be nice.
He just showed on screen Veilguard. We can go down the list of just BioWare games.
Oh no, Smart. He's now going the route of the games were always woke.
Oh. Okay, but he's saying that
it's been a long setup.
If we got rid of these things, we could list the games that are woke. And if they didn't have those elements like from Sweet Baby Inc. or whatever, they'd be different. They'd be better. We could go down the list. We have a whole bunch of games. You guys were mentioning, what was it, Concord before? What was the one? Dustborn you mentioned as well. Naughty Dog has Last of Us. God of War, of course. Spider-Man 2 is a big one. Sorry?
I can't wait for The Last of Us Part 3.
Oh, there's going to be a part? Oh my God. I can't believe that. There's the Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Geez, I mean, what do you mean that you don't know what the woke game? Like, maybe he just doesn't know. Okay, fair enough. But I think
Bayonetta 3 was woke as hell. Was shit.
No, he's not asking about where the woke games are. He's talking about where are the right-wing games.
Well, they're being censored here in Germany.
All the ones that don't have political crap in them. Yeah, it's pretty much all.
Yeah, well, there was an
Sorry, go ahead.
There was an Austrian developer. It was called, I think, Heimat Defender was a run and gun thing that was definitely explicitly anti-woke, and it is completely censored in Germany. You cannot even see the Steam page here. You're not allowed to in Germany to know that this game exists. In Austria.
But why is it?
You can't buy it.
Why is an anti-woke like? Why can't it just be a game that doesn't have any political messaging? Like that's all it should be. It doesn't have to have it. Like he's showing. Mm-hmm. He's showing stuff on screen from MGS1. Yes, there's political rhetoric in there, but it's a spy stealth game. Like Hideo Kojima just went crazy with his ideas, and you're like, oh, this is.
Yeah, well, look, technically speaking, with all the themes in it, and the way the women looked so unrealistic, Xenoblade 2 was a right-wing game.
Okay.
But I think Xenoblade 3 they inserted pronouns because they have to.
Well, when you have weird, goofy...
For the most part, the Metal Gear games, the one political stance that every single Metal Gear game takes is war is bad.
Yeah, but that's nothing special. And there's other messages like, can love bloom on a battlefield? Like all these nonsensical bullshit things that make no sense. And then you have all the goofy shit just because it's Japanese and Hideo Kojima's crazy. So there's so many themes. There's so much going on. I wouldn't say this is a political game. It's a spy stealth game. It's always been that.
I was gonna say, is Hideo Kojima crazy any worse than leftist crazy?
No,
he is creative crazy.
He's like
he's good crazy.
He's the genius in the sandbox who makes cool castles, but he doesn't stop. He just keeps connecting them and making another one. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? We ran out of sand. Stop this. What do you don't take apart the sandbox and make another castle out of wood or whatever. Like he just keeps going. It's like, dude, this doesn't make any sense. You have to stop.
And it looks amazing.
Well, yeah.
So for years.
Have you looked at Final Fantasy? It makes no bloody sense.
So for years I've suspected Hideo Kojima's politics, but haven't had it confirmed. And he keeps quiet about it. He doesn't really. He's not overt about it.
No, the Japanese don't really care. When you look at all the manga and all the anime that's been pumped out, they do not give a shit about the West. They do their own thing. They'll make parodies of the West. They'll have references to Trump and Death Note or whatever, but they don't give a crap. Like look at all the depictions of boys dressing up as girls or vice versa in schools, in manga and anime. It's not the trans movement. It's just a story that I don't know. A girl likes men's shoes or whatever it might be. It might be some simple story. That's all it is. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, but they're also remaking Persona 4, and that means only one thing.
They're gonna walk by it.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. To mark my words, they will.
Anyway,
why remake it?
They did not.
Anyway,
they barely changed much in Persona 5, right? Persona 4, they have two major characters that the left-leaning weirdos in the West were complaining about or talking about. They would have to fundamentally change a lot of that stuff to.
Which is why, and that's why there's going to be a remake instead of just leaving it the fuck alone.
I don't think they can do. I don't think they're going to do. It's going to take too much effort, honestly.
Just the fact that it's a remake points in that direction, Smud.
Persona 3 didn't do it. I don't think 5 did much with the change.
5 was an expansion, 3 was a remaster, but 4 is specifically going to get a remake.
It will. I admit they are making it, but I can't see them changing those two characters. They're too integral to the story, and I don't think they're going to change the dialogue.
I'm sorry, you're a bit blinded by nostalgia. You honest to God think that they're not going to change that to their benefit?
To their benefit, yes, but not to the musings of a bunch of weird Westerners. That's what I'm trying to say, is that these creators don't care. They're going to do what they want, and some members of maybe the HR team on Atlas may have influenced 5 with that update, but other than that, they didn't change the characters of those two gay men.
Unless they have it translated by AI, the localizers are going to basically ruin it.
Possibly. That's the other, the third party. Yeah, that could happen, yes.
So Kojima keeps quiet about his politics. It's well known that Kojima had a feud with David Hayter, the guy who voiced Snake in the West.
Maybe.
And Hayter himself, he's extremely open about his politics and his hatred for certain individuals.
I would say maybe with the nod in MGS 5, was it? That he wasn't coming back? That was about it, but I remember the interviews he did.
No. He did make him actually audition for, I think, MGS3 and MGS4 as if he wanted someone else for
Yeah,
a role.
made him re-audition, and he had no choice but to bring him back because he could still do it.
Yeah.
He had
But
the
he
excuse in
was
five. Five
trying.
was the excuse that it was Big Boss and not Solid Snake.
Yeah.
He was trying to get rid of him.
But he couldn't because he was just that iconic.
Yeah, I think it was a creative choice though for 5. That was the whole, just because of the way that Hideo markets his games, like with 2.
A creative choice that also gave him an easy out for getting rid of this guy.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, this guy who he didn't get along with.
All right.
Yeah.
Where are the games, Grums? I'm looking for the unwoke games, please.
Oh, so like all of gaming
Now, if
before
you're looking
the woke
for
crap.
the woke games and want to find the woke games, consider supporting this channel on Patreon or
What?
What is he
This
doing?
is 17 minutes. We have 5 minutes from the end, and he's doing this.
What are you doing? You have 5 minutes left.
All right. Maybe he's just doing something different. That's fine.
Let's just power through because I'm pretty. Yeah, he's
you're on
probably
YouTube
plugging
as a
early.
YouTube member. All patrons and members get access to the Game Club Discord server, where we play a game together each month and meet up
Are the games woke games? I don't know. I don't know. I guess not.
and discuss it. We just wrapped up playing the Legend of Zelda Oracle games and Adventures of Lolo.
Which are conservative games, you not at least Zelda.
I don't
And we're
think
about
that,
to
yeah.
embark-
I don't think he's trying to say they are.
At least before
At
what was the
least-
nonsense? Tears of the Kingdom. That was
Yeah, I was
garbage.
about to say, yeah.
All right.
That had Gnosticism in it,
Okay.
and a lot of other weird stuff.
Mark on
Even
Hideo
then,
Kojima's
you were
visual
still-
novel Police Knots.
You're still playing as a
Patrons
conservative
in
guy
YouTube-
saving the monarchy.
I didn't understand a word when the video was playing. Could you repeat that, Frednot?
But even then, you were still playing as a conservative guy saving the monarchy.
Well, the old
I'm-
kingdom, restoring the virtuous kingdom.
Okay.
Not establishing democracy
All right.
or
All right.
socialism.
All right.
members access to video scripts and exclusive essays.
Yeah, I mean, yes, of course he's scripting this, but to believe that he scripted this is so insane.
Well, you need
because he said nothing.
You need an editor to say, "Sir, that you're full of bullshit," or "These words are stupid." You don't use so many pretentious nonsense. Just actually get to the point, and maybe actually argue as opposed to calling.
What
people
does he
names.
need editing for in the first place? He just has random stuff on the screen, except for when he's letting Drinker's thing run through or Quartering's thing run through. Everything else is just random.
Because an editor,
Which he accused Drinker of doing.
Because an editor would delete all this nonsense that he just spoke. So.
Then there wouldn't be a video.
No, he'd say, "I do not like Drinker." The end. Like, okay.
The name green are the supporters on Patreon and
Useful idiots you scammed out of their money with your ideology.
YouTube that make this
why-
channel possible. I look forward
why
to seeing you
that
both
name?
in the credits and in the game club.
Is it not just 5 minutes of the names running
And
through?
Oh no, we're
Twitter
good.
outrage
We're done. There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
What is
We're
that?
good.
It or
That's
is there
it.
more?
That's it. We're good.
merchants
Is it what?
have
Really?
no
Really?
culture
Is that-
because they create no art. They
What?
have no
Yeah.
inner curiosity. The presence of conservative messages and
Fuck yeah.
conservative casting decisions is the extent.
Of what?
Wait, what?
What is he?
We
We're in a different topic. I don't know what happened. It's like he just.
I don't know.
Yeah. Let's try this
wait.
again.
So he just
All right, try this again.
So,
YouTube
so
and
he
Twitter
put-
outrage.
YouTube.
Please pause before you speak. I cannot understand.
All right,
Yeah.
here we go.
he put
Merchants
these
have
ending
no culture
credits.
because they
YouTube
create
and
no art.
YouTube YouTube and Twitter merchants have no culture because they create no art. What
So
exactly do you
he-
want them to make? That
he
an editor.
The left
put
gave
these
us
ending-
functionalism and brutalism, which is anti-art. Fuck off.
Yeah, but what does he want YouTubers to do? Make a movie for him? Like what is this no culture?
And
so
Dada.
he put these ending credits 5 minutes before the actual end of the video.
Whatever. I don't. It's fine. It's confusing.
It's just so disjointed.
The stupid.
Oh no! Look, this is the commercial. This is basically the anti-commercial break before we venture into the final 3 minutes of madness.
Well, this is a brand new topic. He's talking about critics not being artists on YouTube.
But isn't this something he mentioned before and now he's elaborating on?
I don't know. Like, how does a person who writes essays not become an artist? Why? Should I start making like paintings now? Like, what does he want?
Have no curiosity.
What? Ooh. How? Who?
Ooh. The people who are obsessed with superficiality tell us that those who are not socialists have no inner curiosity. The very people who do not reflect tell us that non-socialists do not reflect. The bloody projection.
That,
he wouldn't know
everyone who opposes him, everyone who opposes him is just an empty husk.
Which is again a projection. It's all projection.
Of conservative messages and conservative casting decisions.
Okay. What is the conservative message of someone critiquing media on YouTube? And what the hell is there? How
no.
Casting?
He means the message within a game. So, like a healthy family, a healthy relationship between a man and a woman. Yeah, but that's a horrible conservative message.
That's like every rom-com. That's like every adventure story.
Yes, and it all needs to be critiqued and dismantled and undermined and destroyed and replaced with homosexuality.
But what is conservative casting in a video game? Like, do you hire Clint Eastwood types and play all the
characters? Look. So smart. I'll explain this to you. So, you have to cast black people to voice black characters.
But they're conservative.
Let me tell. One second. You have to cast homosexual characters to play homosexual characters. You have to cast disabled people to voice characters of the exact same disability or that they claim to have, because many of those are mental and they refuse to be diagnosed. And unless, of course, it's a Caucasian, then everybody else can voice that character. Or women can voice anyone, and alleged trans people can voice anyone. That's fine, because those are the oppressed groups, and they have to be able to voice all the others.
But that has nothing to do with conservatives. That's just, we want our people.
Yes, it has all to do with conservatives, because conservatives dare just cast people by how competent they are. And not by their superficial traits, or what's between their legs, or what they operated on themselves, or their skin tones. Which is all the things that Nazis did, by the way, the whole superficial stuff.
I still laugh at the ProZD tweet where he complains about only being cast for Asian characters.
Which he caused.
How can they kick me out of jobs? This was only supposed to negatively affect for whites.
Anyway, let's try and get through 4 minutes of this.
Decisions is the extent. This is the outer limit of the statement that all art is political. Art made entirely as a political tool is not art, because while all art is political, no art is completely political.
Oh my God.
So it is, but it isn't?
And on the viewer end, art engages the inner self, and the construction of a robust artistic culture...
Art engages the inner... Are we getting psychological again? Are we just trying to say that there's...
What is the inner self and what is the outer self? I haven't heard these terms.
I want to know what context he's using those.
Requires us to interrogate ourselves.
What? Do we have to have a philosophical existential moment every time we play Metal Gear?
Smart. This is really good, because he's telling us that his beliefs, his ideology is not about self-reflection, which narcissists really can't. It's about self-interrogation in order to train and brainwash yourself into your own struggle session to be more ideologically pure.
Yeah, but
it's the very opposite of self-reflection.
But if you want the theme to be, what does it mean to be human? What is, where do we get our strength? Where do we learn about what it means to be alive? Do we keep making Blade Runner over and over again? Like, what do you want me to do? Does everything have to be some personal allegory that I gotta like go on a mountaintop and find myself when I watch a movie?
The Stargate SG-1 episode, Double Jeopardy. That's a really good one. For what it means to be human.
It's so. No, dude. Like he's trying to say every piece of media that is art has to do X, or it's not art. And conservatives can't, or maybe he has a slant like conservatives can't do that. Like, okay, I guess so.
Think what we believe.
To question what we think. If I read Hamlet or watch Hamlet, I don't need to question what I think. I question what the hell's going on with his mind.
Yeah. Questioning what you believe and think is neither a left nor right wing thing, but it is people who are emotionally mature are more likely to do it, and those people tend to be not left wing. They tend to not be what you call right wing either.
I don't need a piece of media to do that. Like, why would I go for entertainment purposes to make me question my belief in God or my goal in life? Or like, I wouldn't. If a piece of media could do that to me, I've got some serious problems that I've been wasting my time doing in my life. I've already addressed those.
Well, it means you haven't thought much at all so far.
That you needed a movie to figure. Yeah. Oh,
well, if you look smart. If you do not have a functioning nuclear in quotation marks family where your elders teach you those things, guide you, then yes, you may need a movie to do that for you. Which is why the left is obsessed with these things. Because they don't have functioning families. Because they destroyed all their functioning families.
Yeah, all my elders, the wisdom I learned from them, my teachers, my university, my philosophies. Oh my! I just go play Metal Gear and learn about the world. Like the guy from YouTube. What was his name? Who learned about communism?
You mean the Cavernacle who learnt everything from his socialist professor who played Assassin's Creed
and Metal Gear.
He went. Cavernacle.
That's just ridiculous.
Oh, there it is. Oh,
he said the line.
Oh God.
This is the most pretentious thing I've ever heard since the last pretentious thing I had to sit through.
You mean the Cavernacle?
No, honestly, it was a video about Dragon Age. That was pretentious.
Oh yeah, okay. I don't remember which one it was, but there's probably a few dozen of those guys out there.
Oh yeah, we should. I don't think you've actually covered that one. It's a very interesting video.
There's a lot of BioWare fans that are still pumping out BioWare news crap items. Yeah, I don't care. David Gator said this. Like, oh my God, it has nothing to do with BioWare.
This one's about how Dragon Age Origins world building is too good.
What?
So it means that it's just too good, and that's a bad thing. Really? Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's what it really boils down to is BioWare became really, really lazy and couldn't write anymore because they're too busy being activists, and just couldn't be bothered.
I've never heard.
This person makes out. This person made out that it was we're too good for their own good, and it's shut the fuck up. There was too many choices, and the world building just couldn't keep up with it. It's like, no, BioWare just got really lazy.
Oh God, let's fillet
get through this one, yeah.
Mr. Casey Hudson some more. Why don't we? It's like, no, we're good.
Oh yeah.
We feel why we feel it, and how we see those beliefs manifest in the world and our art.
This is. Of course, and we go back to freaking Disco Elysium. Of course, the most pretentious game there is.
Why is it always Disco Elysium, and then how does it make you feel? Why is it always
It's a theme.
the themes? Oh, what are the themes? Oh, I don't know. I'm too busy jerking over avant-garde French films.
What did the author's meaning make you feel?
The death of the author made me feel nothing because the author.
This reminds me of being stuck in English at school, and the teacher going, and so what did the author mean by the blue curtains? Well, they probably meant they were fucking blue, weren't they? It's like, no, it's a deep depression he had after fighting in World War One. You're like, oh my god, no, he just means the curtains were fucking blue.
You know, blue is the color that relates to consciousness, as it is the color of water and the ocean.
Oh no!
And the whale.
Let's not bring up Surrounded by Idiots. There's the True Colors test. There's Surrounded by Idiots book. It's all 4 archetypes of man. It's like, oh, the blue is the learner, the thinker.
In Disco Elysium, is there a character known as Racist Lorry Driver?
No. That's the names they give to people you don't know their names of. So it's just the detective making up stuff. So it's just like, this guy's a big.
Oh, Racist Lorry Driver.
You mean?
Yeah, he said. I'm sure where he's leading.
As in his little world, people are
he's
named.
got them all over the union.
Yeah. So drama is part of his mind. That's part of his 25 or 26 characters in his brain that speak out. Yeah. It's
smart. In the ancient world, people were named after what they do and
that's true. I know.
Their attributes.
Yeah, it's like my surname, racist son.
Harry Potter? Did you pot? Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, N-word
racist. Say I struggled with, grappled with each word swept from my fingertips.
Are you describing yourself with adjectives for no apparent reason? The struggle I went through to type with my digits on the cusp of my fingers as my imagination exploded across the keyboard.
I hope he's sarcastic, because man, if he actually sweated writing this drivel.
No, I swear to God, it's like the last person I listened to. As my fingers typed on the cold keyboard, the feelings starting to go through my arms, and no matter how much I held on to my warm cup of coffee, it's like, oh my God, you pretentious cunt, get on with it. Everyone's typed to their fucking laptop before.
Contradiction inherent to the very existence of these 3,000 words. I myself have indulged, with glee, in analysis of children's media. My Pokemon videos are the greatest algorithmic successes I have. Go figure. The platform we work with promotes discussion of the lowest common denominator.
What?
You don't write the E down there.
So as he was mentioning that he participates in children's media, he was scrolling through the competitive stats of Pokemon in the game for the competitive scene. So that's more adults that do that, less children.
I think he's reading the comments and he's saying, oh, I got people who disagree with me. That's the lowest common denominator because we're on YouTube and everyone disagrees. It's like, no, they just disagree with you because you made a bunch of pretentious Pokemon videos, I bet. It doesn't matter if you're on YouTube or anywhere else. They're going to argue. If you go on Twitter and say anything, they're going to argue with you.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I made a video about I got a leaflet about the Reform Party saying that they're racist, and I just read through the leaflet saying, well, this isn't some of the stuff was like the leader of this party makes a lot of money. I'm like, well, that's not racist. I don't know why you're doing this. And then people argued with me in my comments about, well, trans and gays people exist. I'm like, that's not even what are you on about?
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. People argue about anything for any reason.
They made a similar thing. Like, it was 2,000 pages of a document that they use as justification to try to ban the AfD in Germany. that one non-socialist party, or at least not as all the other parties, and well, people wanted to look into it, and can we see it? Can we see your evidence? And I said, no, you can't look into it. But it's 2,000 pages of total evidence that they're totally horrible people. And then it was pried open, and then we looked into it, and it's actually just nothing. While I remember some 5 years ago, there was this really big inquiry into the British Labour Party and their anti-Semitism, and man, there was a lot of that in there.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, because socialists are actually very anti-Semitic, despite, well, also being, it's very funny.
It's as if they're channeling Marx without even knowing it.
Yeah, well, there is an answer to that, and that's part of the trick.
We cannot ignore the influence of right-wing anti-woke nonsense on the internet.
You just did. You literally said, I'm not going to address any of this stuff from the Critical Drinker or the Quarterling.
Or anybody.
Yeah, because you had stupid reasons. But apparently you've changed your mind throughout the course of this video. That's amazing.
But we must also avoid it?
Is that a question?
He confused himself now.
What are you doing to yourself? I'm lost. You're lost. We're all just have big giant circles.
The double think is at its final point. It's he's stretching too far. He must go back, or it will break.
Oh God!
What's that?
How do we? Don't watch it.
I myself scanned.
It's not made for you.
Footage and clips, while also saying we cannot let them control the conversation.
What do you think a bunch of people on YouTube are controlling others?
Yeah, but it's Hawk.
What? Well, what I'm going to say is this: they do control. They're worried about losing control.
Yes, it's again.
That's it. That's all it is.
It's again the projection. The left wants to control the conversation, as I said before, and when they say, "Oh, we can't let the others control the conversation," and they call the others controlling the conversation as the others criticizing our arguments and showing that we're actually just lying and full of illogical nonsense. Damn! That's what they mean when they say these words.
So he's going to change his mind and suddenly start making a giant rant about Critical Drinker every 2 weeks and make a video about it.
If it gives him money from his all the useful idiots he's scamming onto his Discord.
Yeah.
Perhaps this is the point. The contradiction. The tension between form and content.
The what? The tension between form, meaning the format or the media, and the content within the media. What the flying hell are you talking about? What tension? Do I feel tension when I print out?
I think he's just randomly invoking Hegel.
I don't know.
To sound smart.
The tension between form and content is
he's a leftist, and he's invoking contradiction for some reason, which makes it sound like he's talking about Hegel, and there's somehow some Hegelian dialectic going on here that he has to synthesize, which is what he means with balance. Because he doesn't understand what balance actually is.
He may be pulling a Marshall McLuhan, talking about media as a whole, but I don't think you're that smart enough as Marshall. Like it's so you're shifting from the actual talk about, I don't know, wokeism or whatever this video is supposed to be about, to the idea of using a format and the tension between that and the content of the message. I don't know. What is this?
Nothing.
It's a contradiction of what?
Nothing.
Indulgence and ignorance.
Indulgence and indulgence of wisdom, indulgence of knowledge, indulgence of info. What?
Of feeling good.
Indulgence. It's the tension between indulgence and ignorance.
I don't. What?
This perhaps the great aesthetic power of art.
What?
The great aesthetic power of art?
Irony as a dramatic device is so powerful.
You just changed 3 topics in a row. What are you doing?
Random words. This is, I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday. Smart, you have read Foucault.
Oh, God.
Right?
Not the books. I went through passages like when you're studying psychology and they have like the excerpts and you have like what he said about a certain topic and you're like, all right, whatever.
So you have not actually read like the analysis of power.
No.
It's exactly like this. It's just endless putting together random words for pages upon pages, and then you have one sentence that kind of makes sense, which is what he actually wants to say, and then it's more 20 pages of just babble like this.
This is 3 non sequiturs.
Marx is the same. Marx is the same.
We sat through this for a good minute going, what did he say? And then he changed his topic. What is that about? And then we changed it again. Irony. Now we're talking about irony is a dramatic device. Okay.
He's not talking in our language. He's using the sounds that we know, he's using the words that we know, but all the definitions that he's using have nothing to do with the real world, with the actual definitions of them. It only makes sense in his head, and to his personal subjective definitions of these words, his understandings of these words, they totally convey what he's saying.
It could
but nobody understands him. This is what Babylon, people speaking in tongues and nobody understanding each other, actually means. It's newspeak. It's newspeak on an individual, atomized level.
Well, I was going to say it could be a stream of consciousness where he's just writing down all his thoughts and he's not thinking about them. And then he's
but he wrote this out. This is a script he's reading from.
Well, that's what I mean. He just decided to record his voice thinking this was perfect. The editing's done. And I'm just going to read it. And he's like, the previous, 4 sentences had a question at the end. And I was like, are you asking me? Are you asking yourself? Like, what's happening? I don't know. I'm lost. Still not the 2-minute mark, but we're getting there.
In contradiction. Intention. Danganronpa is a...
What? A 5th topic? How did we get to this? Irony is a thing. No, Danganronpa is a thing. What? No.
Pure vile little game.
What?
One of its cases...
It's a murder mystery. It's not a vile little... What do you... Okay.
And there's the thumbnail.
Okay.
Tells us is a sad tale of gender identity and...
No, it doesn't.
Bastard.
Every time.
I've yet to read a Japanese manga or play a Japanese game or watch a Japanese anime that has gender identity. There are guys who dress as girls and vice versa. That's about it.
How dare this witless bastard use Yoko Shimomura's music like this?
In Colombo.
But that also comes off as deeply transphobic with
just stop. Just these words mean nothing.
The bodily disgust the game has for a character whose gender identity and gender expression are, by social expectations and norms...
Which social expectations and norms in a fantasy Japanese world where the apocalypse has happened and everyone's stuck in this murder mansion? Are you out of your mind?
Yes.
Does the setting mean nothing to him? That there's this psychotic bear running around killing people, and you're like, this person has a sexual identity.
Just for protocol. What the left says about all the trans topic has nothing to do with the reality of it. It's not about societal expectations in the least. They are just making that up in order to control the conversation and push their occult shit through which they can alchemically create a new man, which is this weird thing that transcends biology.
I don't remember all the weirdos in this game. I do remember there's this really buff girl, and she looks like a guy, but it's really a girl, and she's basically the jock of the school or whatever in the thing. I don't remember this character, but I bet you it's a guy who dresses as a girl for some traumatic reason, like he was bullied or his sister bullied him or some bullshit. Like it's always very simple. There's no transgender nonsense.
mismatched. What are we supposed to do with that?
You enjoy it. I don't care.
When I streamed Danganronpa, I had people in chat talking about how the story brought peace to their struggle with gender.
In a murder mansion where everyone is a suspect is going to get murdered, and they're not. Why would they care about gender?
No,
like, what is?
If you get gender peace from Danganronpa, you do not have gender dysphoria. You have some very, very, very weird fantasies that are not even the escapism from the stress of your neurological disorder that is measurable with an fMRI. You don't have that. You have something else going on.
I don't remember this particular character or their plight. And maybe they played around with, boys dressing as girls, whatever. It's all under the context of, is this the murderer? Are they potentially going to get killed? Are they lying to me? There's highlighted words. So it is a mystery. It's a goofy one. That's why I don't like this style of murder mansion stories. There's a bunch of those in the 70s I never really liked. And the Japanese version is just way too quirky and way too goofy to take too seriously. That's why I never got into the series. But this is the first game, I believe. So, that's what you have to appreciate. So if this guy is just getting that, this is one of 14 characters in this story. I can't remember all them all. This is no different than talking about the two characters in Persona 4 and their gender issues.
Other people said that it was insulting to their identity, that it reinforced negative stereotypes that have hurt them. What are you supposed to do with those two truths?
Just don't listen to those retards. That's all you got to do. Just say, oh, these people are dumb. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're lying to you. This is not a story about transgenderism. Goodbye.
When the left talks about truths, it's never a truth they talk about.
Oh, we have some super chats. I'm sorry. I was not paying attention. Legacy. Thank you, sir. I'm in touch with my Half-Life. Okay. I want to hit him with a dictionary. How about a digital dictionary? That'll be nice. The voice skills in my head told me to.
Don't give in to the violent voices in your brain just because you want an excuse to enact violence. Don't listen to the schizo stuff.
Okay.
That's not. And what is a voice skill in your head telling you something?
That's not a. Well, that's legacy.
That doesn't even work as a metaphor.
I too have an inner monologue.
Yeah, but that's something else.
That's where I want to eat pizza and I want to win the fight by urinating in my basement or whatever the hell.
If you must give in to the violent voice in your head.
Especially when it comes to the whole basement argument, is every single time they use it, it's against some 40-year-old family man who clearly has a house.
Yeah.
It's like, he lives in his basement. He has a multi-million dollar business. He lives in a massive house with his wife and 3 kids.
All right, here's another one from Legacy. If you want to make an analogy for transgenderism, look at the Batman Beyond episode about splicing or altering your DNA for a fad on youths. Is that the one where they turn into animals or have animal characteristics?
I think so, yeah.
Yes, the furry episode.
Oh, yes, okay. I remember that.
Alternatively, you can read the wonderful comic Transmetropolitan, back then when the author was still sane enough.
Classic.
Where it was the rich the urban culture of the metropolis was obsessed with the Roswell aliens, and they DNA spliced themselves into hybrids of the aliens, and it looked just utterly nonsensically stupid.
Is that prequel to Fear Live?
No. Just the normal grey ones. But it wasn't consistent. It was just the half of your face was now an alien, or one arm of it, or completely stupid and ugly. But that's just social contagion fetishism. But for the Japanese do write stories about what the left would call gender identity, although it isn't that really. They rather write things that truly connect with people with real dysphoria, but that's so off the mainstream and justifiably so that you will not accidentally stumble upon it. They're usually rather short mangas. They only have a few chapters or so.
Yeah, I think everyone should read Transmetropolitan, the comic. Is there a movie for it? I can't remember. I think someone.
I hope they never make one because it will be horrible. But Transmetropolitan fully predicted Obama.
It did a lot of goofy things. It did a lot of interesting things, that comic. Anyway, we are almost at the 2-minute mark, and I think we already hit it like a minute ago, but anyway.
I don't know what to do with that. Knowing whatever politics or whatever social climate led to Danganronpa does not solve that contradiction.
What do you... Are you... Is it the death of the author or not? Which one, buddy? Pick one. Stay in your lane and pick it. Don't just...
He can't because he doesn't know which benefits him.
Oh, do I bash the guy? I don't know his politics. I don't know how to attack him.
Yeah, so the death of the author only happens when the author is detrimental to the message being conveyed. Yeah. When the author is in line with the ideology, then whatever the author says is gospel.
There you go.
Perhaps that's okay. No matter what the cause is, we must sit with it. We must sit with two things that don't seem to make sense with each other.
Which?
We use it to talk to ourselves, to learn about...
No, you do, because you're crazy and you talk to yourself. That's weird.
About ourselves, and to learn about others in the same social circle who have reacted very differently to the same text.
You learn from others by talking to yourself about the... Okay, I mean, whatever works, I guess. I hope that helps.
It is a form of reflection, but it implies that he has to do it outside of his head, which means he does indeed not have an inner monologue and probably can't rotate an apple in his head, and certainly not so fast it turns into applesauce.
Oh, there we go.
So he's a schizo.
I hate that he's using music from Parasite Eve for this last part.
I can barely hear it. I hope it isn't. Oh my god.
It is. It's from Parasite Eve.
All art is political cannot come to mean that there are easy answers to easy questions.
Like, how is all art political? How, sir? A bunch of rom-coms have nothing to do with politics. I'm sorry.
It cannot also be used as a way to beat down the uncomfortable and necessary act of conversing with oneself through art. The culture war has, in a way, already been won by the left.
I don't even
know. So then what's the problem?
What is the what? We won, guys, but I'll keep talking about it. Like, what?
We won the war, apart from the fact that the enemy is still there and we need to fight him, and oh dear, they might be winning, oh my god, we've got to stop them, oh no, they're breaching the walls, oh god, women and children, sacrifice yourself, ah!
What was the goal of the culture war? To bring back racism?
He literally said earlier that the right has no culture. What is this culture war?
Well, that is what the culture war is actually about. To erase all culture that isn't socialism. But that's not what he's saying. He's not saying that out loud.
He's so terrified that there's a possibility that instead of having 100% control of everything, the left will only have 99.9% control. That is the biggest sign of, oh, my ideology isn't as strong as I thought it was.
Well, he has to say that, we already won, so that any non-left winger who listens to it will be demoralized. And God, that means I can't do anything anyway. I should just roll over and take it up my bum.
There is no depth, no intrigue, no art being produced by the right wing that cultivates any kind of culture beyond the feeling of...
Okay, so the new norm that was created specifically as a response, and art that is made as a response to other art is it's usually not that good.
Yeah, it's kind of like a parody of a parody. It doesn't quite. There's nowhere to latch onto because when you have a reality and you're making fun of reality, you relate to that whatever reality is.
But isn't in a way the new norm just a variant of in quotation marks subversive counterculture? Definitely counterculture, just from the other side.
Yeah.
Just as once the Simpsons were counterculture, criticizing what was before, or what was before in media, and what the left has always done in order to change society by showing its actual flaws and then showing itself as the alternative. Whether it was a legitimate alternative or not, but that's how they did it. And it's not okay when anybody else does it, is it?
It's basically a deconstruction of leftist shows that are about deconstruction. It's kind of just falls flat.
Yeah,
sadly,
heard of it.
Because it's made by unfunny people.
You can't really deconstruct deconstruction. It's just
all right.
Well, you can only show that it's stupid and nihilistic, because that's what it really is.
The new norm, a feeling that cannot sustain a human mind.
I just want normals. Beer.
For all of my issues with what we choose to talk about, for the constant discourse around slop trash and young adult fiction, LeftTube video essays are frequently, well, scripted, edited, set dressed in a complex way.
Oh, isn't that what... Are you admitting to yourself, or are you not seeing that you are guilty of that?
I'm not sure what he's getting at. Most content on YouTube is scripted, so who cares? What? Like what?
My content isn't.
Well, yeah, if you're just doing one scene or one edit, that's fine. But everyone who makes edited work or YouTube videos does their own editing or pays someone to do their editing, and they have a bunch of scripts, and they go through them, and they record them, and they find all the clips they can use. They tie them together with music if they want, and it's a big process.
Yeah.
How is that any different from anyone else? I don't get it.
These videos are not off the cuff, reaction bait in front of a wall of landfill filler.
What? Landfill filler.
Wall of landfill filler.
That I do like that one. Landfill filler sounds fun.
Yeah,
That's nice.
He's calling them rubbish, trash.
I guess.
Yes.
Refuse.
Yeah, I guess, but like landfill filler, you're just fill filler. You sound like you're bumming a guy called Phil.
A meaningful meaning, yeah, I know. It's
yeah.
No, don't bring that up again.
Anyway.
Space are artists beyond the video essay. Writers, filmmakers, artists.
Really? You're this super genius, okay.
Perhaps all we have to do is remember that the job of the critic isn't just to discourse about popular X, Y, and Z, but to champion art.
That's well said.
Especially art without mainstream backing. To develop a mature and complex global art culture.
Why? What
the left cannot create anything mature because it is perpetual immaturity. It is pathological immaturity.
How does the critic
global culture?
How does the critic develop a mature art culture that's complex and global? Like he has so many adjectives. If he just said to develop art culture, you're like, okay, yeah, because the critic criticizes whatever they criticize. That happens to be, this is bad, this is good, therefore you promote the good stuff. Fine. By nature of being a critic, when you promote a good, or when you show a good product, you're promoting it. We get that. But a mature, complex, and global? No. How?
That's especially... It's especially impossible if he wants to incorporate Islam into that, as 99% of what he considers art is haram.
Like, how do you... make children's cartoons mature. You can't. They're not mature. The whole point of it's for kids. It's not supposed to be adult. Complex is, I don't know why you'd want to make it complex. That's the opposite of your job. Critics have to deconstruct things and make them obvious and simple to understand. And global doesn't make any sense because if I talk about video games in the Western world, I'm obviously not appealing to people in the Southern America who like soap operas in Spanish or whatever. How does this even apply?
He wants a monoculture.
Yeah.
No,
Or at least that's the consequence.
The point of making it complex is to make it easier to obfuscate.
But why would you want to do that?
So people can't see what you're doing. They don't understand.
So I can
how you're
describe 4 ideas in one paragraph with 20 adjectives and 16 adverbs while calling people a cunt in different ways. Is that the point of this? That's what I got from the video.
That's poetry.
That's all I do.
Yeah, well, maybe with less adjectives. Yeah.
Yeah, I just use the word cunt for 14 paragraphs.
Is self-reflection beyond pattern recognition politics.
What is pattern recognition politics, sir?
I would look. This is he said something. He said something. Okay, yeah. With this snippet, I'm totally fine. I would just wish he would do that himself because he's clearly not.
Pattern recognition politics is why even if only 13% of the population, why do they commit?
It's watching the political parties screw you over, and it's not voting for them because you know that if you do, they'll just screw you over again.
Even though they only make up 4% of the UK population, why do 80% of rape gangs contain Pakistanis? Don't notice the patterns.
Okay. Anyway, we're almost done. We're done. Yay!
Oh, you know what? Fade to black because I'm a pretentious artist.
Yay! We're done.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, thank God for that. Never, ever bring that person up again.
3, 4, 5, 6 videos on Dagobah.
That was a lot of nothing.
Wow.
And now you know how the Abrahamic God could make the universe and himself out of the void, out of nothing. Because this is clearly something, but it is also nothing at the same time.
Oh, good Lord. Can we get to memes, or are we going to call it a night? I was exhausted.
Let's do memes. Let's do something funny. Good Lord.
I get the first one.
Also, I meant to post this in memes. Here's a picture of Walpole. Here's Walpole and Alloy from...
Oh my God, there is a resemblance.
Got it.
Now we have a name for you. What now, Chuds? Chud. All right.
Where are we? Where are we on memes?
I just linked it. It's the first one, and I just linked it in the DM group.
Yeah, hold on. Calm down, Ginga. Jesus Christ.
Why are they over 50?
My child will think about collateral damage and plan accordingly. Sea of irradiated cobalt. Okay. We would give Supergirl her own TV show. We make a huge deal of how feminist the show is. We put large focus on the men she dates that none of the fans like 3 times. What?
Huh? Wear her skirt. Made her into a big blue block.
That's weird.
And they turned All-Star Superman into Nazi Supergirl.
Anyone can piss their pants. It takes a real man to piss his shit too. What? Clit Eastwood? Oh my God. All right. So I can ask you any question of any topic, anything. Okay, what's the ending of the show, The Acolyte? No fair. Interesting. Okay, the media literacy of Anita Sarkeesian. Media literacy, is that even a thing? Okay. I want to talk about how generic and stereotypical rom-coms often are. Okay. 500 Days of Summer. Movie about how unrealistic rom-coms and says this is not a love story in the tagline. Yeah, this is completely generic and played straight rom-com. I'll use this one. Really?
Yeah, 500 Days of Summer was just like the opposite of a rom-com.
It's a parody.
Yeah.
And she chose that one. That's weird.
Yeah, it's about pretty much a breakup. So they date each other about 500 days. The woman's called Summer. So.
I see. In an age of light and darkness, this is the weirdest.
An age of light, darkness, rise. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We saw that one before.
Yeah. This is the weirdest tampon ad I've ever seen.
Why won't you just die? This is Disney. They don't understand lightsabers. Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
We harvest shadows. Just try it. And that's
Shadow the Hedgehog.
That Shadow? I can't quite tell.
Yeah, he's using a gun. So else it's Shadow. He's black and he uses guns.
It's Keanu Reeves.
For those who don't understand, GJ is game journalist. Okay.
Uh-huh.
This game had a lot of gory ways for Isaac Clarke to die. Nothing unusual for these games. Dead Space 1 to 3. Why did you make all the ways Laura can die in this game so effing violent? Do the devs like seeing a woman get violently murdered? And that's Tomb Raider. Really? They said that? The reboot of Tomb Raider?
Probably.
That was the fun
So
part.
I haven't seen an article like that, but I can imagine they wrote one.
Yeah, that was back in the day was fun. That was like, oh my god, you slid down
those death scenes.
Yeah, you
so
slid down a waterfall and then you like impaled yourself on a spike or something. Like, whoa. Kentucky Deluxe Kentucky Blended Whiskey with an E, right? I can't believe I'm at a point in my life where I'm drinking this. Because it's not bourbon. Is that why? It just says whiskey, Kentucky Blended Whiskey. It's not bourbon. Who knows?
It's blended, so it's at least two different whiskeys.
That's okay.
Mixed.
Could be good. What even are those memes? Well, obviously they are stream memes. Oh, what is boop boop boop? As opposed to the chicken noises?
That was about the boobage.
Oh, really? Every time this Brainlet opens his mouth, okay, this should be short. Let's listen to this.
Please shut the fuck up! Just stop! Fucking
Oh boy. Hello, I'm Sniper Frog. Bang! Thanks for standing still, wanker. Okay.
Hello, I'm Mr. Frog. I eat the book.
Oh yeah.
I don't understand. Why did you give me this empty poetry book? I thought I was going to be mining coal under the revolution. Start writing.
After.
Oh, sorry. Coal mining enjoyer. What a weird.
That's funny.
It's a reverse of the usual meme of. I don't understand why you're making me a coal miner. I thought I was going to write poetry after the revolution.
Oh, I see.
Wasn't there like that thread? What would you do after the communist revolution? And like everyone's putting up, like, I'd teach people how to play the guitar, or I'd teach them stuff. And it's like, yeah, you're going down the coal mine.
That's harassment, criticizing an actress for stuff they willingly said. This is fine because J.K. Rowling disagrees with aspects of trans ideology, bullying an actor, or for being a Harry Potter thing. Huh.
Yeah, you usually put the images on the right side. It reads weird in this order.
If you could stop using big words incorrectly to sound smarter in online debates, that would be great. I don't think this is an online debate. I think this was just his own. I was going to say diatribe, but I don't know what it is. Is he angry? Is he confused?
You generally shouldn't use words incorrectly.
Yeah, I don't know why he made the video, because he didn't criticize anyone, even though he wanted to, I think. But he didn't think, oh, it's beneath me or whatever. Like, what are you doing?
To criticise is beneath me, so I'll just insult you.
Yeah, it was this, like, of all the dumb things to do, the worst thing you could do is insult someone. What is that? Define woke. Define woman. No, that's woke. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nails it.
Monster from the ID.
Id.
Yeah, the id. The id, yeah.
Oh, really? That's a movie.
Yeah, it's the Forbidden Planet. That's the monster. Comes from the person's id.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like he's trying to speak to me. I know it.
Mhm.
Boob, breast, and tit. Okay. Boob is too funny. Tit is too aggressive. Breast is too formal. No, it's not.
What's wrong with tits?
No, it's too British.
Yeah, but I often use tit as, not to refer to a woman's tits, but as a mild insult.
Oh, fair enough. Why not?
To call someone a bit daft or annoying.
All right.
The association here with that word is rather the hanging udder. It's just not pretty.
Is this a Cavernacle mashup? Uh-oh.
My God, Wisp, just close your window.
Is that the Whisp in Great Britain, or is that...
No, that's Great Britain coming to Wisp.
Yeah.
It was just the firefighters, no worries.
They use the same klaxon as the Brits? I didn't know that. That's cool.
I am a cowboy.
I think. Pull off your skin. Oh my God.
What the fuck?
What is happening here? Cars? Is it a Cars joke? Jesus.
It does look like Lightning McQueen is being skinned.
Don't understand it.
If you have trouble knowing if you're for me or the...
Is that a shoe or sock?
The Nev Ravine, then you ain't Dunmer?
Yeah, that's taken.
What is this about? I've lost.
That's a Joe Biden reference where he said where he told a black guy that if you don't vote for me, you're not black.
Really?
And Dunmer are the Dark Elves in the Elder Scrolls.
Yeah. All right.
The Nerevarine is the playable character in the third Elder Scrolls game, Morrowind, and he's the main antagonist.
Oh, fun.
Anyway,
that was really clear. Okay. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? He is. I'm unsubscribing you.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the girl on the left? I don't know.
That's
That's
Rachel Zegler.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The girl on the left.
How did you miss that?
The girl on the left.
How did you miss that?
Gal Gadot.
What?
Wait, hang on, I'm Canadian. I hibernate for at least 6 months of the year. I don't keep up to date with culture.
I said the
for a
left.
year.
I said the left. I don't know who the left is.
Yeah, it's
Evil Queen.
Evil Queen. Gal Gadot's Evil Queen.
Okay, fair enough.
So possibly Gal Gadot.
I didn't watch this film. I think I saw a trailer like a
Nobody watched it.
How can you remember?
You've never seen the concept of Snow White, though.
Smart. Rachel Zegler made a video about how she watched her movie in a theater all by herself and thought that would be amazing. And everybody laughed about her.
Well, obviously I have better things to do with my time. Okay. Jerome, Jertu, Germany. Okay. Germaphobes. Confused screaming.
Listen.
Whoa.
Again, I just get violent thoughts.
Erika. There is actually, on the way to the supermarket, there's actually a sticker on one of the traffic signposts that does say, I am a Germanophobe. That they use that word, unironically.
Hey, that's Alice Cooper. I knew that guy.
I only recognise the last one.
Yeah.
As Alice Cooper.
Yeah. Ted Nugent. Okay, I've heard of him. I don't know Blackie Lawless, though.
Isn't that what most of the population is?
Blackie Lawless?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Ted Nugent. I was like, yeah, America.
I'm Blackie Lawless. N-word prison. Those famous.
Muslim N-words. There you go. That's what they are now. The right wing can't create culture. Right wing movie culture. Here we go. Where Eagles Dare. Okay, cool. Apocalypto. Another Mel Gibson, I think.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah,
I watched it without subtitles. That hits. If you watch it without subtitles, it hits even harder.
The Exorcist.
Okay.
The Exorcist without subtitles.
Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry. Yeah.
Dirty Harry.
What do we got here? Oh no, not Sweet Baby Inc. references. Why the hell do people think game kit journalists are the real degenerates? Pedophilia isn't a
Life's hard when you're a convicted paedophile. What? Yeah, to be honest with you, yeah, that's going to be.
What a crazy title. Never write a title like that. Yes, I covered up a sexual predator's actions and lied about it, but it's Gamergate's fault. What?
That's Dane Olsen from Folding Ideas, by the way, on the right.
Animated video game porn could be a lot sexier and less gross. This Kotaku article.
Pedophilia isn't a moral wrong; it's societal.
Oh
wow!
Okay.
Wow.
That is what the left pushes. The Catholic Church at least has the decency to hide its pedophiles away, but socialists constantly try to normalize it.
So here we have C.S. Lewis.
More of the right create culture. Meanwhile, we've got Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah.
Got Lord of the Rings.
Ender's Game is okay. It's popular. I'll give it that.
Was Ender's Game made by a Catholic? Because given one of the characters, I'd have thought that it would have been a.
He's a unique character, Mr. Orson Scott. So yeah, he may as well be.
Well, since we talked about Shogun earlier, that was pretty much that.
And there's Highline.
Yeah.
Yes, Starship Troopers. There is Orwell. There is all of Stanislav Lem.
Oh my god!
People having rights and freedoms is fascist.
Hawk, you want to read that?
What, the Homelander one?
Yeah.
God, after seeing man, invented the punching bag, despite the fact he created women. That's very spicy. Ooh, honestly, that's terrible. Save image. Just
right click, save.
Save image. Forward to Mrs. Hawk.
I would correct this to not the West hates women, but the left hates women. Because it's the Western people don't want this crap, as we see from the sales numbers. We want what the East does.
Yeah,
because that stuff sells like hotcakes here.
They actually have attractive characters and good stories, or good storytelling at least.
Yeah, they have both. We have neither.
I forgot the third one in the bottom row.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's Ashley Graham, Lady, and I forget the last one.
Isn't that Eve from Stellar Blade?
No, that's not Eve.
No. Then I don't know who it is.
Yeah. For a second, I thought it might have been from Mirror's Edge.
So, oh boy, this is all the men from various shows.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, various games.
They're all from games, and they're kept base exactly the same.
Oh, hold on. Someone just asked what makes Dirty Harry right wing. There's literally a scene in it where he goes, "Why are we having women? Women are useless in the police force."
Yeah, he's anti-political correctness, which is an old term for wokeness.
What did they like? Oh, the scene where she stands right behind that bazooka, and he has to pull her to the side before she gets her head blown off.
Did Fable 4 come out yet?
What
Fable 4.
What came out?
Fable 4. I don't think so.
No. To be honest with you, I don't even think it's going to come out at all.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. Fable 3 was already bad enough.
That is not what.
Yeah.
man in a dress.
Maybe one day Peter Molyneux will make a creative, good, and complete game.
You know, I actually remember Populous. That's how old I am.
I saw it on the Game Boy once. It didn't work well on the Game Boy.
Gran Torino, all insults and racial slurs in 5 minutes. Yeah, it's good.
It actually takes up that much runtime.
If you haven't, anyone that hasn't seen Gran Torino yet, what are you waiting for?
Yes, it's a good film.
So today the communists are just gay.
You could just replace the gay with nons, and then it would also be true in the past.
What do we got
They've
here?
always been that.
Link is gay. Yeah. Link is gay with exclamation marks. Link is gay.
Uh-huh.
And it shows Link getting off with a woman, then another woman, and then another woman twice.
Yeah.
Both in her imp form and her normal form.
There we go. Link the man. Oh, yeah, this is like the third time I've seen this the past week.
Guys, come on.
Tara Moraleda. He's like wide. And I'm just trying to wrap my mind around what it means to be human.
He's like, what you doing?
Oh.
That was Dr. Manhattan, what?
I don't understand what "wid" means.
Wendy's cashier forgot my barbecue sauce. 357 Magnum. What the fuck? Barbecue sauce?
That guy who shot a fast food worker because they forgot the sauce.
Really? I am tired of Earth. These people. I am tired of being caught in the tangle of their lives.
It is Dr. Manhattan, isn't it?
Sure. Oh no, we got comments from the original video. This should be super fun.
Are you actually going to read them, or?
Oh, whenever I use the phrase all art is political, I usually follow it up with the statement, even a simple story about good versus evil must first decide what is good and what is evil. It's still reductive, but it's usually something that still makes people think.
No, Dunn.
It's very simple. Good is virtue, evil is malice. Sadism. There's nothing good about sadism ever.
But that's not a political statement either. It's just a moral or ethical one. Yeah, you don't have to use politics at all. Anyway.
Yeah, well, since they ignore this and think, these things have nothing to do with good and evil. Good and evil is just subjective. They can make it into being political because they just lie.
Okay, here's another one. The controversy with Assassin's Creed wasn't with the name. You mean Assassin's Creed Shadows? It was with the historical accuracy. Why the hell would the name have something to do with that?
Yeah, the historical accuracy is one of the problems, yes.
Okay.
And his response to that.
Yeah, I assume this is the reply, yeah.
Okay. Assassin's Creed, unlike other games that portray Yasuke, has wide cultural reach.
Which ones have portrayed Yasuke? Seriously?
Actually, yeah, Neo both.
It's on about different games.
Just
really?
That's why
the thing is, Neo. If before you continue, Neo actually portrays his part in history very accurately because it also has Nobunaga himself in a very prominent part of the story.
How's he portrayed in Samurai Warriors?
That I don't know.
Okay, but
because the Warriors games are just general nonsense overall.
That's why
that nonsense makes more sense than the leftist nonsense, at least.
All right.
That is the crazy sad part.
That's why I say the name matters. Assassin's Creed is popular and it will generate more clicks. Not to be overly dismissive, but I will absolutely, 100%, as opposed to just saying absolutely, never understand the argument that the controversy about historical accuracy when you compare the reaction to Shadows with the 13 previous AC games, which have also never been historically accurate.
Okay. So the original Assassin's Creed, the trailer for it.
Can I make one point?
Altair Ibn Ahad had a crossbow. People pointed out that they hadn't been invented yet. They changed that detail to be accurate.
More accurate, which is why it took them until Brotherhood to add it in.
Okay, but
and also the whole thing with that point, it's because they advertised Shadows as specifically going out of its way to be historically accurate, and they lied because it isn't. It's the fact that they said that they were gonna be, and they lied and they weren't.
So also, the better term here is authentic.
No, but also
and that is
they chose to shit on history of a culture that is very proud of its history. So, yeah, you didn't show the Middle East all accurate. Well, they don't care. They're not a large part of the audience.
Was it authentic enough? The thing is, Shadows isn't because they didn't even bother to check which of the plants would be in bloom at which time.
It's not even that. The issue is the West, apart from obviously the right, doesn't care about its history and its culture as much. So they just thought they could do that with Japan, and it's like, no, you can't shit over Japan's history. Japan is deeply connected to its history.
It's the same with...
They didn't even do it with the previous 3 games when the series had already gone down the shitter.
Yeah, it's the same with if you were to portray Chinese culture, which is just massive and long and one of the oldest cultures in the world. Japan is not that old, but pretty far behind.
It's not about being old. It's about the connection to it. Like the people today feel very strongly about the people from 400 years ago and the culture and the traditions that get passed down.
Yeah,
they're very into it.
It's the
so
immediate family.
This big black man fucked one of the most popular royals of your nation. They're gonna go, no, that's not true. They're gonna get angry about it.
Yeah.
When you say, oh, this black man was smashing up stuff, well, they're like, oh no, it's not true. So they're gonna get angry about it.
Yeah, it's a very different thing with the Asian community in terms of their immediate family, their extended family, and then the clan that they come from their origin back at home. It's this whole. It's very different from the West, where we're very individualistic and we can go off and do our own thing and make our own lives and do and whatever. It's a little different attitude in the East.
Also, the fact that at least those previous 13 games were at least close enough to history.
Sure, but they all had their plot, which was kind of fantastical, that tied it all together, which is totally fine as a story because that's how it goes. It's the sensitivity that, like, even the way they designed the levels, they put the arches for their holy temples was the entrance to their city. It was like, or their village. It was like, that's not, even I know that when I play Japanese games, like they never had an arch to a city. It was always to like a temple up a hill or a mountain. And I'm not much into Shintoism, so I can't say.
The Tori, which is that arch, is to represent a gate between this world and the spirit world.
Oh, and they made
the holy, this world and the holy place.
And
like
they made
temple.
that sculpture that you could buy that had a broken Torii gate.
Yeah, a broken Torii gate that the only reason the real life one is broken in that specific way was because of the bombs that came down during World War II.
And they, I don't know if they kept it that way. I can't remember. My brother actually saw that village that got bombed.
Oh no, they actually repaired it.
I think you're right.
Did they replace it?
I remember it because
they repaired it due to donations that came in due to the game.
It was the
wasn't there also an earthquake that happened?
Destroyed it. Yeah.
There was one hotel they never repaired that they kept broken. That was the only building that survived the bombing, and it's like a landmark there. My brother took a picture of it. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So I don't know about other structures though. Maybe I'm misremembering.
There's one of those gate, whatever they call the gate things, and the figurine is both the main characters just climbing all over it, which is obviously frowned upon, especially because I think the one that was broken had been damaged in World War II and also damaged in the tsunami earthquake thing in 2011, was it?
Around that time, because that also affected some of Capcom's stuff.
Yeah.
If you guys want to
remember seeing a meme about it, but people asking what is it made of because it was only partially destroyed by a nuke, and it was only partially destroyed by an earthquake.
Well, yeah, no. If you want to know,
most of the city around it had been completely flattened.
Yeah, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, check out. There's a famous scene in Memoirs of a Geisha where this lady is running through all these gates up a mountain, and it's just like these series of like I don't know, dozens and dozens of gates to know what these things are. I don't know what they're made of though. I've never seen.
Well, also another example of the previous Assassin's Creed games acknowledging history and being close enough to it. They literally acknowledge Da Vinci's death in universe in some Revelations supplementary material when they literally didn't have to, but they did it anyway.
Well, that was 2 in Brotherhood. I think that they put a.
That was no. It's like because I remember it's like no because Da Vinci died in the lead up to Revelations. That's why I think it was in the tie-in novel where they said that Da Vinci died and Ezio and Machiavelli were there in his final hours.
See, that was a fun. Like they didn't change much in Italy in medieval period. The Renaissance.
So even as recently as Syndicate, they didn't change all that much. At the end of the day, they were still close enough.
Syndicate was it had its own problems. Same with Unity.
Syndicate. Yeah, one of my problems with Syndicate, they put Marx in the game, and the first thing I wanted to do was shank his ass, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
Same with
That's
the
worst part about Syndicate.
What did they call the brothers and the sister? What were they? She was
the twins, the Fry twins, Jacob and Eve.
There's a little bit of the woke starting there. What we
Not
got?
even.
Okay.
Because they also don't treat Jacob like an idiot.
That's a good point. Okay.
If they treated Jacob more like an idiot, I'd buy that. But no, it hadn't really started in Assassin's Creed yet by Syndicate.
Okay. Here is who is this from? I Love Near Replicant. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
12 minutes in and you made like 200,000 points times the amount of points an average 3-hour video essay would make. Never change Bopper. You make banger Bopper videos from FE. Is that
Fire Emblem?
Fire Emblem.
Oh, I thought that was the symbol for iron. From Fire Emblem to Dark Souls to general philosophical topics.
The hell does he have to say on Dark Souls?
Oh, who knows?
I love the idea of it. From iron making to Dark Souls.
The Iron Man.
Don't you think in terms of the periodic table? Okay.
I never think of periods.
or Greek or Latin. Anyway. What we got here? Dragon Age of Veilguard introduces non-binary characters. She's ugly, whiny, and has no social skills. What did Bioware mean?
She ugly, whiny, has no social skills, and straight up says it in-game.
Well, the thing about that really bad scene that we all remember from Veilguard, or seeing the clips of it rather.
Nobody don't want to remember.
Well, yeah, is that she sit there like, why? Like, why are you doing this? Like, she has no idea what's going on, which implies that the person, what's her name again? The pirate lady, Isabella. Honestly, I want to forget Veilguard. She takes it upon herself to do this self-punishment, and this, what's her name? Tosh. She sits there like, like, what is going on? She has no clue. It's like there's no point for her to do this, like whatsoever. She doesn't feel insulted. She's not like confused. She's just like listening, going, "Why are you doing this? What's this ritual all about?" It's all about, I want to feel better. It's not about protecting this person or defending them from whatever. It's like, no. I'm the virtuous one. Let me self-flagellate and feel better for saying a word differently or whatever. Anyway,
I'm actually going through Dragon Age 2 again, and the Isabella from Dragon Age 2 would never do something like that.
No, obviously not.
It's just insane.
Today I will. What is that?
It's just doing a Walter Mitty.
Apparently, that's Half-Life from Disco Elysium.
Okay.
That's what the character's called.
I don't know. I don't know either. The mental construct. Okay, maybe that's what he's mean. Disco Elysium is a weird game. Anyway, this is
yeah, it's anyone that watches this video in a nutshell.
Yeah.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
I'm using this meme to describe the typical woke American thinks of a cross-dressing character. Okay.
Ah.
The vocalizer strikes again. Cross-dressing Oto Konoko. Okay. Oh, good. This is good. New half. What does that mean? Okama. I don't know.
No idea.
Gender bender. Fine. And the guy's like, oh, this is all transgender. It's all the same. Yeah.
Bullshit.
Is new half an actual term? Because I thought it was just something that someone called Samus Aran once as a joke.
I thought it was a Gundam term, like, oh, geez, there's every time they make a new Gundam, there's always like some new advanced human being, like a cyborg or some genetically created Borg or something like that. New type. The names escape me, but I'm trying to think in terms of sex. I can't think of one. All right. And these are the
this.
brag about having media literacy. This is not a thing.
This.
I am Dark Sun Gwendolyn. I was forced by my father, Lord Gwyn, to dress and act as a woman because he disliked his son wielding the powers of the moon, which he claimed was a feminine symbol.
Yeah, that's correct. He forced one son to dress like a woman, and he disowned another son for going against him and allying with the dragons.
Okay.
That other son you fight in Dark Souls 3, by the way. The Nameless King.
Something needs to be adapted for a Western audience. Localizer? Oh. You've been acting sus this whole time.
I'm trying to remember the name of Gwyn's actual tartar. I'm flaking on it right now.
I don't know what game is that from. Rin? I'm not sure. Thought it was Fire Emblem. It could be something. Yeah, it could be Fire Emblem.
Guinevere, I remember now. Shit.
Is it Fire Emblem Fates or is it something?
That I think it's Fates.
It does look like a
it's the free to play game. I think the mobile one. And the
Fire Emblem Heroes.
That's Corin's game. I forget what it was. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Fates.
All right. And
is that Fate? Okay.
I don't remember. Yeah. And the translator is Basic Japanese English Dictionary, Translation Studies dude, and Google Translate. That's all. That's all you need. What is happening here?
Let's finish with the drink.
It's a South Park episode where Kyle's dad buys a hybrid and starts sniffing his own farts. They end up having to San Francisco.
God damn it.
So he's farting into a wine glass and sniffing it.
Oh, okay. Always nice to know that.
No, it's not.
Okay.
And Eric Cartman ends up going into San Francisco to save the Broflovski family.
Anyway, that was
horrible video.
I'm trying to articulate what we just experienced.
I just said
that was the most well, not the most pretentious, but definitely in the category of someone who is so far deep in whatever rabbit hole he jumped down in, he just can't see the light anymore.
He's just incredibly deep in his own fucking ass. That's what it is. He's so far up his own ass, his nose is tickling his own tonsils. That's...
Oh. In a news report in that episode, it said the reporter guy says that San Francisco disappeared up its own arsehole.
Oh, jeez.
What?
So that is quite an appropriate gif. That is
what is wrong with people?
Anyway,
it's a South Park episode.
Well, plenty of Disco Elysium stuff with MGS1, which made me think of
fucking Disco Elysium simp.
I don't even know what it is. This is how disconnected I am to this shit.
It's probably best because people were like, "Oh, this is the next Planescape tournament," and you're like, "No, not really." It did its own thing. It had a lot of political messaging, and it was unique. What it was trying, it was more comedic than anything I thought. But not something you take very seriously.
I might check it out because it's got racist lorry driver.
Oh yeah, it's funny because the guy he was so drunk he got blackout drunk. Like he didn't remember the past day, and all this crazy shit. Like, it's like basically waking up to like a drug-induced stupor. You have no memory of anything happening. So he has to find his gun. He has to find his badge. He has to go figure out what happened, why everyone hates him. Like all this crazy shit is happening. So it's funny. Plus you have like 26 voices in your head, and you level them up. And it's how you respond. And you could fail dialogue checks. And that's supposed to happen. Like, that's the game. So you're supposed to fail.
It looks like it's designed to give people depression for people who already have depression.
There's an entire fetch quest of you picking up bottles of empty booze and selling them to make money. Like, this is what you do like half the game. You're just running around. Is that a bottle? Oh, I can make money. Okay. You're going through garbage. You're basically not a murder hobo, but you can become one if you get the gun soon enough. So anyway, it's a silly game. It's funny. It has a lot of stuff in it, but people latch onto it because it's one of those artsy fartsy, commie-ish. What's the word to look for?
It legit looks terrible.
It's different. It is a different game. I'm not saying it's a fun game. It's one of those. It's like an adventure game where you don't know what to do next. You're like, where do I go?
Which game? Sorry.
Well, it's basically an adventure game.
If it's not fun, then what's the point?
Well, hopefully the logic. I never actually finished it, so I don't know. But it's basically you need a guide to figure out where to go. So, anyway, if that's your ball, check it out. I'm gonna go. I'm tired. I need a drink. I need to stretch, all that jazz, and remind myself I still have a functioning brain that is not constantly reading a thesaurus to insult people. So anyway, thank you guys. That was great. We'll talk to you soon. Good night.
Watch Gran Torino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.